Hey man, just wrapped up an amazing podcast. Okay. Actually, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna cut this shit. Okay, we're gonna cut this. Mike, you got me. You got me. I'm tired of saying it's amazing, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. Look, this is a great episode with Jhon Goodwin, man. We talked about acting, his restaurant business, just growing up in the theater and how that translated into, what he's been able to do acting and meeting all sorts of different actors, how that's affected his life. It was a very entertaining episode, I think. It was a lot of fun getting to know him. We talk about Spokane. We talk about all sorts of stuff. Please tune in. Let us know what you guys think about this episode, man. And follow Jhon. Go check out his businesses, Lost Boys Garage and Summit up on the South Hill in Spokane. I love you guys. Keep showing love to each other, because the most important thing is that we're kind to one another, because that's going to fulfill you and fulfill the other person. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
I challenge everybody that listens to this to get out of your shell and go do something new and fun.
Happy to be here.
Like they just slow motion.
Do you see Zach trying to pretend like he doesn't watch cake sitting videos?
Happy to be here.
There to exorcise the
Wait,
demons.
so your swan man is
Our,
an exorcist?
our Schwan delivery man that brought us bomb pops and chicken nuggets is there to perform an exorcism.
This needs to be made into a short
You
film.
couldn't make this shit up.
Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
What is up, beautiful people of the world? My name is Exact Change, and I'm happy to be here today with my friend Cody Duncan and Perfect Cody.
Yeah.
And my guest, the wonderful Jhon Goodwin.
Howdy.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is awesome. I'm glad that this was so organic. You didn't recognize
I didn't
me.
even recognize you.
And
Like
we
Exact Change. Oh, okay.
You're like a podcast. Fuck. All right,
Yeah,
let's
sure, why not?
let's
Yeah.
run it. Yeah. I was telling Brennan that I was like, Jhon strikes me as a guy that would have a podcast.
It's funny. We've talked about that possibility.
That's cool.
Yeah, he and I were going to get back together, and neither one of us has. So
Well, here we go. Look at
we'll be
this.
talking about it soon, I hope.
So did you just like when you got sent the location? Did it look familiar? Like, oh, fuck, I've been here before. Because
I literally that came through, and I've been so busy, I didn't do anything with it, and then just like getting ready to come here, I opened it up. I'm like, oh yeah, I know where that is. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
I've been there.
Because we're playing defense a lot of time. We're looking out the window. We're like, okay, I know I'm gonna see him get out the car, and then I'm gonna need to walk him around front. Like, you know,
walk right up
you
to the
walk right in.
door.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, well, it was open for another thing, so that was helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, man, it's really cool to see. I don't think that I've seen you talk to you since we used to work together, man. And
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask
got it.
that. How did you guys meet?
doing sales, knocking on doors, man.
No way.
Knocking
Holy
on
shit,
doors.
that's crazy.
For a company, we don't gotta, say the name.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But yeah.
I taught this kid to sell cable door to door.
That's right.
Really?
This kid, because I'm that old guy.
Were you the
apparently.
manager or something?
I was a trainer at that time, and then I ended up being the sales manager. Yeah,
Awesome.
Yep.
yeah.
I did a little bit of door knocking in my day. I don't think I'll ever go back.
What'd you do?
Same type of shit. Cable and
Oh, it was cable.
yeah, stuff like that. Back in the day, it was one of those third party. I'm not even sure what the fuck I was selling. You know?
Here in Spokane.
Yeah.
So you look vaguely familiar. I wonder if you work for me too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been around.
You had
Been
met.
around. I have a business.
That was a
here.
way to meet a lot of people.
It was.
Especially when we were in the contract days. Because I met you when I started working corporate at, wherever. But I did like the fucking crazy, contractor game.
Yeah.
1099 running around. You're hiring. They'd be like, fly down to Salt Lake City, build a team, leave.
Yeah.
And it was like you would just meet people, doing interviews, get somebody on a team. You'd have this team ragtag people
That's
out
right.
here.
'Cause you went to work for the other company, didn't you?
So I worked for like all these other, because I met you when I started working at
American.
no,
Oh,
at corporate.
we met at corporate.
At
Okay.
corporate,
So
yeah.
2015. Wow. That's
Yes.
a couple days ago. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Or 2012. Anywhere in there.
Yeah, and when I met Jhon, it was like, again, this guy, amazing at sales, that I was like, I'm going to soak up game. he was on a billboard. You would
Oh,
drive,
Lord,
you would
that's
drive by.
Forgot about
You would
that.
drive down the highway. He's on a billboard. That's how I met Jhon. I was like,
Dumbass with a chunk of steak.
that's right, the
Yeah,
steak.
Oh fuck! I swear I remember that.
Yeah, man.
funny.
So yeah. I kind of like for this. It's just like Cody said. We just like to hang, man. I really like to learn kind of from the beginning on up of what got you started and interested in your crafts, because you're a man of many hats.
That I am. Undiagnosed ADHD till I was like 36. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow!
Done about 1,000 things. Yeah.
Using it to your advantage.
Before we start,
Trying to-
my wife was nice enough to buy us some bourbon. You can tell no one here drinks bourbon
Jim Beam Orange.
she got Jim Beam Orange.
Whiskey,
But
whiskey
bless,
syrup.
bless her heart. Would you like one?
I would love that. That'd be
Okay,
wonderful.
absolutely. She says the drink is a little orange with the tonic water. Do you want it straight?
I'll probably go straight and just
There's-
drop some ice into it.
Yep,
if
there's
that's
ice in
all
here.
right.
Okay.
Maybe a little tonic. We'll see. With tonic
Okay.
water or soda water?
What is it?
Tonic.
Tonic.
Tonic, interesting choice.
Do you?
Right
What do
on.
you, Zach? Do you want tonic or you want straight?
Just give me the drink.
Me
dude.
too. I
Give me
just
the,
gotta
give
go-
me the drink.
Oh,
I'll
the
try
real
to-
drink.
Just give me the concoction.
Okay,
with
yeah.
the
I
slice
just
and
want to see.
The
yeah.
cocktail. Is it?
Yeah, the
Okay.
cocktail.
So go ahead. I'll make these for you guys.
So when did you because actor, freaking sales extravagante,
Good Lord.
restaurateur,
Yeah.
father.
Yeah.
That's what those are. This is straight from your bio: is restaurateur, actor, father.
Yeah.
Which are three things that I'm super interested in diving into. But just being a salesperson, we're both salespeople also. So I
Okay,
think
right on.
that's another cool part. So when did it kind of start as far as acting? When did that kind of, not acting, but when did you really get interested in cinema? Like what was kind of,
Oh man. First film I ever went to, and I have a vague memory of it. I was a tiny little kid, and it was Disney's Robin Hood. Still one of my top 5 films of all time. I love that movie. And from that point forward, started getting into
Wait, this is Disney's cartoon Robin
the
Hood?
cartoons with the fox and the Robin Hood and
we
Little
just
John.
had that
Little
sing it.
Forest. Yeah, come on.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. So that was that kind of started it, and then God, in junior high, the Fall Guy was on TV. That was actually earlier than that, but the Fall Guy, which was a show with the guy who played the $6 million. You guys are too damn young to know this. The guy that played the $6 Million Man, Lee Majors, played a stuntman.
Okay.
and actually and sang the theme song to that one. So there's that. You might jump an open drawbridge. You might roll a brand new car. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know that
I'm
one.
the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood such a star.
So what year
there
was
a show,
that?
So that got me interested in stunts. That's like probably 82, 83,
Okay.
81, right in there, because I'm old. And then got interested when Friday the 13th came out, the original Jason.
Okay.
And saw, my first slasher movie. And the blood and so I got interested in makeup and how that worked. And, my brother and I ended up, I got some vampire blood from the store, and we did a fake, my poor mom, dude. So she's a single mom. She's at the edge of her rope because she's got, a preteen and 2 preteen boys that are just pissed off at each other all the time. And Brian and I decide that we're gonna do this thing. So we do a fake fight, we do a stunt fight, right? Where I take a swing at him and he does the clap of the hands and falls down, and we had the vampire blood. So he had blood on his mouth, and I had blood on my knuckles, and we're being all cool. Literally heard whatever it was inside my mom's head snap.
Oh man, she's like,
She would go, oh, she's gonna kill us both.
because she was probably like, oh my god, it's happened.
Yeah,
They're
right.
beating each other to a pulp.
My poor mom, just I think we caused a nervous breakdown. It was horrible, but yeah, we ended up doing that. So that was kind of where it started.
Your mom
with-
wasn't fathoming freaking fake blood.
She just saw blood, and I'm standing over my brother, and
He's pounding him.
she decided we were both going to die that day. But
But you know what? That's where you were like, know what? Maybe I'm pretty good at acting. She bought this whole thing.
She bought it, and I'm on the floor laughing my butt off as she's swinging at us. But it ended up that kind of did it, and then from there getting into the monster makeup and all of that. Started high school and under Karen Brathoft, who was a teacher at Ferris, and then ended up retiring out of Meade. Incredible drama teacher and taught the passion and the craft and the how to create a character. And then we had professionals come in. I mean, as a freshman in high school, I got to do a scene from Shakespeare with Craig T. Nelson, who was Coach. If you ever watched that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I got to do a Shakespeare scene with him on stage at INTAF. It was, and I got bit, and then I ended up going to Cornish College of the Arts, and I've been doing it ever since.
First, but it was like, how close are you and your brother in age?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
And so that's kind of like, so that the slasher stuff, that's when like the kind of your brain started moving towards like, really like, how does this work?
Yeah, exactly. How do you make how does Kevin Bacon get a freaking, what is it, a knife that comes up through him in that bed is that Halloween or is that anyway one of those? Watching somebody get decapitated. How do they do that? And then, and back then you could only get it in magazines. So I had, there was what was it, Fangoria? I think you could get. And there were a couple other magazines that showed the behind the scenes stuff.
Dude. Oh, okay. Yeah. And that's how you'd figure out how to pull that off.
Right. Yeah, learn to do. And then same thing with the festivals early in high school. A gal who did stage makeup and special effects makeup came in and taught us some stuff, and learned to use tissue like Kleenex and liquid latex to make old wrinkly skin. And make old look, all these cool things that you got to learn to do, and then from there, getting on stage and making an audience laugh, and hearing 100 people laugh at what you're doing versus just laughing at you, which is I had a lot of that too. But
so,
yeah,
did you do comedy or improv or?
I'm not a big improv guy.
Oh, okay.
I've never really been great at that.
Okay,
I'm too self-conscious for that.
Yeah,
I think is the problem. Did comedy, did musical theater, and played a lot of the goofy characters, and ended up just I ended up being a character actor. I mean, as big as I am, it's all character stuff.
Cool.
I'm either playing a special needs guy or a cop. Is usually how it works out.
Yeah, we saw a couple cops.
I saw one of your roles as a cop. I was like, talk to me a little bit about the like how easy it was for you to be on stage, or like was that something that was intimidating at first, or was that something that you just didn't even think about?
It was an escape. I was a nerd. I didn't realize. I mean, I was always big, but it was everybody called me fat my whole growing up. It didn't occur to me that I was bigger than and more powerful than most people around me until like my senior year. And so it was always, trying to just stay out of the way and all this. But if I got on stage, I could be somebody else. And so there's a quote that's actually from a movie that's, and being who he wasn't could be who he wanted to be, I think is how it goes.
And I can see where acting really gives you a complete vessel for that.
That's just it. You can be somebody else. You can be anybody you want to be. And when you can convince an audience where they stop thinking, oh, it's just some guy on stage, and they believe it's the character. That's a huge. There's just this thing that happens, and it's pretty.
Now in theater, awesome. It's like you have almost like that instant gratification. It's almost kind of.
Is that me?
Oh, that's
Sorry.
you. Yep. That instant gratification, as far as like having an audience, where it's like, and when you shoot a movie.
Whole different thing, yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like
if
you don't.
Although if we can make the crew laugh, you did good.
Okay.
Right. That was,
there we go.
When you've got the one guy over in the corner going.
Yeah.
Trying not to.
And then you're just like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, that one works.
And that's probably got to be almost better too, right? Because the people that show up at the theater are maybe more willing to kind of enjoy, where the crew is probably trying to just be like, no, I'm not going to laugh at anything.
The crew's just used to it. They've been doing it for so long. Usually,
so if you make them laugh, you're like, ooh, that's what.
Yeah,
that's
the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something.
Nice.
Yeah, because I know that's. So basically, it wasn't really nerves or anything crazy. Like as far as a fear of like performing in front of people, it's like your ADHD mixed with being able to be a character.
And that's the thing is that I was uncomfortable being me in front of people. So being somebody else, well, that was easy, you know.
So that must be, so is that where a lot of that passion got, kicked in, where you could really have this room to be able to.
Yeah. To do anything and
to grow.
And then, when everything from making somebody laugh, which is like the biggest compliment there is, as long as that's what you're trying to do, to, playing these intense roles and hearing the room go silent because you did something. I rewatched a play that we did back in 2011 called The Boys Next Door, which is about 4 developmentally disabled guys and the guy that is their kind of caretaker in an apartment. And I played a profoundly autistic, developmentally disabled guy. And in the middle of the show, he's walking around being himself, and he has to testify before the state Senate to try to let them know that he can't live on his own, kind of a thing. It's kind of that, they trot him out kind of a deal. And the way it's written is he's being just him, and then the lights change, and he stands up and he talks to the audience. I am Lucian Percival Smith. I am trapped inside this cage, but I will not go away. It's this whole speech that's just this awesome, basically telling you, I will not go away, because if I go away, you won't know. You won't remember how close you might be to this. You won't, or how you might end up this way, right? And being able to be in that room where they're laughing and I'm being silly because of my Spider-Man tie and all this, that, and the other, and then bam, standing up and changing and doing this speech and hearing kind of just the air come out of the room and nobody moves and it's just still. It's the coolest feeling in the world.
Well, it's like when you get a laugh, it's like a verbal thing, so it's kind of wild to kind of feel that same kind of energy, like this is working, when it's like zero,
exactly,
off of a feeling.
And what it is that you're sharing that audience is they give you energy, you give to them, and they give back, is kind of how that goes. And because people are always shuffling in their seats and moving. Like right now, I'm talking on the mic, but I'm trying not to breathe through my nose into the microphone, and I'm aware of my breathing and all that, right? Which I hope I'm not breathing too much in
please.
there.
It goes in.
But to have, people are always, shuffling and moving, and you hear water bottles and whatever else, and to have that room get so still that the only thing you might hear is maybe the fan in the heating system. It's just surreal. It's the craziest
You're only
thing.
hearing things that aren't living.
And then there's the whole egomaniac part where you're on the stage and it happens, and that little voice inside your head's going, "Oh, I got them. Oh, these people are mine," and then that's kind of a crazy sense of power that you have to be careful with. But and then if it goes wrong and you screw it up, oh God, that's all horrible. But yeah, it's a way to go through every piece of yourself and every piece of emotion and every piece of excitement and not excitement and everything. It's a blast.
That's cool. You're selling me on trying to get on damn stage. I'm like, I want that silence. I want the laughter.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm going afield.
No, that shit is terrifying to me, to be able to get up and do something like that.
You'd be scared of that type
I'd be so scared. But I just don't know. It's not my field. It's just definitely when you're not.
Yeah, but right now you're sitting in front of a microphone talking to anywhere from 10 to a million people. Who knows?
Seems like no big deal because it's just us.
That's true.
And maybe that's why I was thinking what like a movie would be like, maybe a little easier than doing like a play or something, like Broadway or something, maybe, because
it is and it isn't. I mean, it is because if you screw up, you just do it again. On stage, something goes wrong, you got to fix it right there.
You got to write it.
Because it's you're without a net, and that's
scary. That's the scary part.
Yeah, and to me, that's the stuff where I'm like, that's the addiction, man. That's like, oh shit, went wrong. Let's play. Here we go.
Playing on the edge, right the edge.
If you can do it where the audience doesn't know you screwed up, it's genius.
So what would you say? Would you say that is like that's definitely your like preferred as far as like?
That's my addiction, man. If I didn't need money, that's all I'd do.
Because you get that from like a stand-up comedian basically, or something like that. But then with drama and things like that. But like how you just get fed from the crowd, and they're telling you if it's theater and movies. Movies are a whole different animal in that you get to do this thing and it gets shaped and it looks different, and it's the lighting changes everything, and depending on you do it 5 different ways, and then the editor puts it together and makes it this
other thing that's
The
just
sixth
incredible.
way,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's incredible, right? That's
So
the
how does
best
it
of all
work
of
with that? Like you shoot a scene and then like, you shoot it all these different ways. And then when do you get to see the scene? Like when the movie comes out, or do you get like,
Yeah, as an actor, in a professional situation, I won't. So like right now, I think they're showing it at Cannes, or they did just show it at Cannes. We did the movie Dreamin Wild, which is almost 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago now.
22, right?
Yeah, and that is set for release, I think August 4th.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I know that there was a screening in Seattle, I heard, and there's been just a couple screenings for private or competitions, but it's supposed to go live somewhere on August 4th, so I won't have seen anything from it until
you
then.
just shot the shots. And you shoot these different ways, and you don't know exactly what that cinematography is going to look like.
Right,
Like how
exactly.
those scenes are going to look.
Yeah, and in this case, from that movie, the only thing I have seen is there's one publicity still of Casey Affleck and Zooey Deschanel that's out. That's kind of the one you see anytime you see anything online. And then I have some pictures that or I've seen. I don't have.
Yeah.
I don't have those.
Yeah.
I have some pictures, I've seen some pictures that are of editing and some little stuff where I know that I'm at least in.
You're like,
the
I'm in
scene.
there.
I'm like, okay, I'm on the camera there. Yeah. So
Damn.
but it's things like Boone, the one they did a few years back. I got a role in Boone as it was on my trailer. It was The Man.
That's right. The
I
man.
thought that was pretty cool. Ended up as Man in Diner in the credits, but I was completely cut out of that. And I went so far as because it ended up being released streaming, and so I bought it. And then
You weren't in it.
I'm not in it. Yeah. And there's a whole scene between myself and Neil McDonough and a buddy of mine's wife who played the waitress. And she has one shot, but there's a whole scene where she and I went back and forth, and Neil McDonough and I were exchanging looks, and it was this kind of cool thing. And it just didn't fit for whatever reason, and they cut it.
Do
So,
you
yeah.
take like?
Damn.
Do you at all? Are you like taking offense? Like, are you like
Oh, heck,
heartbroken?
No.
Or
I
like,
mean,
okay.
well, sure. I'd love to
Yeah,
be on
it's
the
like
screen
I want
with
to
Neil
be in the
McDonough.
screen,
Yeah,
but you got credit at least.
Yeah, I got credit. So
Yeah,
that's
because you
a
at
credit.
least showed up and
Right,
oh.
and if it makes any money, I get paid for it, and that's good. So that's
There you
part
go.
of being
And there was another one. What was the other one you did in 2021? Three
Busy Debras.
Busy Debras. I saw
Yeah,
that.
that's okay. Have you watched that?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, that's funny. That's so that's a TV show that is that was Comedy Central. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's an Adult Swim show. And they did 2 seasons of it. I was in the first episode, and it was myself and a comedian, Harry J. Riley. You know Harry by chance?
Wait, he's Spokane guy.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Harry and I are of similar build, and so we were 2 cops that were kind of bookends in the thing. So it was kind of funny,
awesome.
and it's just the silliest show.
Because that was Cop 2 right there. I
Yeah,
saw.
right,
I was like, okay,
yeah.
Cop.
He got number 1, I got number 2 because he got hired first.
Oh.
It's like, oh, come on, man. Yeah,
I'm cop number 1. You see this hair?
right.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very, very interesting story for Dreamin Wild, honestly. Like, such a cool story. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? Because you're going to be able to tell it better than
You're
I'm
going to
gonna
act like I actually know the real story.
or at least what you know.
Well, what I know. So I've known. Wow, my brain.
The guys, Emerson.
Yeah, thank you, Donnie and Nancy Emerson. I've known for years. They gigged around here, and they're sweet folks. I've known them forever. He and his brother back in
76.
76, 77,
70-something.
70-something. They lived out in Fruitland up near Hunters, and their dad built them a sound studio in an outbuilding on their farm, and they recorded this album called Dreamin Wild. And I don't know if you've seen the cover. It's 2 like Elvis jumpsuits. It's like about as disco as it gets. The feathered black hair.
We'll throw it up for you guys.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. And they did this album, and Donnie, I think he remastered it in like 2015 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
That's what you were saying.
Is that right?
What I was saying is that like like you build something back in the day, and it's like maybe people might want to hear this nowadays.
That's the thing. I think what it was is that it was streaming somewhere, and I'm trying to remember. There was an influencer online that started talking about it or
I was
getting
going
it
to
spun.
say something happened, right?
Yeah.
That brought it into popularity.
And then
Someone used it for a TikTok dance.
Well, yeah, and
some
then
shit.
I think Jimmy Fallon mentioned it on some interview, and Who else was it? Yeah, there are a couple of real famous people, and I think it ended up getting used. The song is called "Baby," and I think it gets used in like A Handmaid's Tale in the soundtrack and some stuff like that. I mean, it's gotten some traction, and then during COVID, I guess there was an article in I don't remember which newspaper, the New York, I think, New York Times, or New York, something like that.
Something big.
Yeah, something big that talked about this album and how it's working, and
From the 70s.
so it went full viral and blew up. And then some guy wrote, I don't even know, I don't remember who it was, but I think it was somebody that knew Donnie and Joe, his brother Joe. I don't remember. Anyway, wrote a screenplay about it and ended up with this. This is their life and their journey. And
Dude, what a fucking crazy like leap of faith, I feel like.
Yeah.
To just write a screenplay and just be like, oh, you know, I don't know.
And it got picked up, and they started getting it made. And I mean, the cool part was the scenes I got to do were up in Hunters at Donnie's brother's bar. The Hunters Bar is owned by an Emerson.
Oh, dude,
and they're
awesome.
great, just great big Catholic family, just wonderful folks. And Joe was there and their dad, and it was the coolest thing. I got to be there the day when, there's Donnie sitting next to Casey Affleck at the keyboard, working through Baby, and Zoe's there talking to Nancy, and the two of them are. It was just, and Bo Bridges is sitting and chatting with the dad and the mom, and he's playing the dad, and it was a crazy,
Dude, that's cool.
Like that's a neat thing to have in your head. That's the thing is I've always joked that I'm never going to be the guy, but I've had a real privilege of being around a lot of this stuff and seeing a lot of the things.
Dude, that's
I've got
still
some kind of fun stories for
that's
that
still
stuff.
pulling you up too and making you better when you're around those type of people.
Learning what to do, and in some cases what not to do, depending on
And how
who
to
you're
work
working with.
in this business. It's probably a crazy business too, like just in general. Like it's not your run of the mill career by any means.
No,
But-
hence all the other jobs.
Yeah. Fuck, man. But I mean, I think it's so cool that that's something coming out of Washington too. Fruitland. What did you say? Hunters?
So Hunters and Fruitland, Washington. Yeah, they're up on Lake Roosevelt, kind of by
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Middle of
north,
nowhere.
north of Davenport.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy, dude. Little old Washington, and in the 70s, and then it just somehow some record out of all the
30 years
millions
later,
of
there's
albums.
this. Yeah.
Because there's so much music. It's almost like there's so much music today that people are like, let's get back to the set. Let's find something else. Let's find something old and bring it new.
Well, and if you play the song, if you hear it, that's part of why I think it hit. Is it? And, most of the album's very disco of the time, kind of groovy, But this thing sounds like it would be an alternative hit today. It's this mellow kind of, I don't know, like, I don't want to say Flamin' Lips, but kind of that genre-esque. It's got this groove, Blue-Eyed Soul kind of feel to it. That's
Dude,
it's pretty cool. Yeah,
that was
kind of hypnotic.
I know. I want to listen to that one now so I can hear. I wonder if I've heard it. It's crazy what the internet can do to. I mean, whether you're a brand new person on the internet with a talent that could blow up, or you're a song that's freaking 40 years old, or, you could just all of a sudden be whoa, like. So that's got to be super cool for the family too, for them to just be like, oh shit, like
Yeah, I think so.
wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
we just created that on our farm.
Well, and then Donnie got to write music for the movie, music for the movie. So that was kind of cool.
So was the project, you may or may
Or
not
Donnie
know
and
this,
Nancy, I should say. About
was the project back in the day, was it like unmarketed, was it like not marketed well, or like did it like get picked up like in the 70s?
I don't think so. I think it was just this.
It was just he made it and
They
they
paid to make some vinyl back then, I think, is what happened. Yeah,
because there's no internet.
Way
Like,
different
what do you
game.
do?
Yeah.
You go down to like the local bar and you're just like, I made this, and that's all you get.
And they might have gotten some play. I don't know. I should probably ask Donnie and Donnie or Nancy, if you guys hear this. Did you guys get on like KJRB back when KJRB was, or Creme FM back in the day when they were the big, stations with all this music? They might have come in and talked, some DJ into playing it. I don't know.
How would that whole just process has changed from, what you press records or something and you go to and you're just like knocking on a door and like trying to, hey, I'm trying to get in there, and getting in there and getting somebody's hands on it.
You're handing the DJ, a couple of joints and a
buttering them up a little bit, buttering them up, and then it's like now it's like, oh, I DM'd him.
Yeah.
I sent him over. Yeah.
Send him MP3 and I
Like,
DM'd him.
Dr.
Yeah.
Dre, bro. You know, it's
Send
just
him
it's
my
all good.
deck.
Yeah, like it's just crazy, like how internet has changed everything. Who would have thought that this one thing would just come and fucking just completely change everything in our brains and our society and
Yeah.
everything that it's done to us.
Good to know it's got some good that it does.
There's some good.
Yeah.
It's a yin and yang.
Yeah.
It's definitely a yin and yang. One thing that I'm super interested, because we got a lot more to talk about than acting, but one thing that I'm really interested on the acting front is how you kind of, when you get a character, and then how you kind of tap into that character. How do you study that character? How you that part of it, like becoming the character, like in your mind, because you got the method, you got all these different ways where people, how does that work with you when you get a role and then you're going to become, you change from Jhon Goodwin to
Yeah. I think the best one ever is the Far Side, where it's acting 101. And he writes on the chalkboard, pretend.
And that's what it is.
Pretty much what it is. As far as, how to approach a role, whatever you're doing or gonna do is in the text. So whatever that script says about you, what other people say about you in the script, if you're of that, like for example, my character in Dreamin Wild, it's a little 1 page. I'm the town, ding dong that comes in and gives him a hard time about not being around. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
And, because there's a lot of the people that are portrayed in the film that were real people. And I don't know that mine was.
Okay.
I don't know. But he, he's just this kind of obnoxious guy. And so it's okay. Well, I've known, or I've been, I guess some would argue, that obnoxious drunk, right?
yeah.
Okay, lots would argue, but still. And so I've seen people act that way. I know how they act. I've been, that way. So, okay, what's that look like? What's that feel like? How do you just be that?
Yeah, so you're almost like you can draw like music. How I'm thinking of it is like, and you can draw from something that somebody that you've known,
Right,
a you,
right.
a piece of you, or an old you.
Right, there you go. And that's the thing. That's part of the thing about being an actor is, there are times in my life I've been a complete asshole.
Yeah.
We all
have.
you remember anyway, but yeah. And I, even though that's something I may be ashamed of or wish I wouldn't have done or whatever, I can still go back and go, okay, I remember kind of how that felt or how I made that, how I engaged my brain to make that happen.
Yeah.
And you can just redo that. Or if it's something that's, unfamiliar to you, like I don't know anything about being a developmentally disabled guy, for example, we were talking about the play.
Yeah.
But I worked with developmentally disabled guys in my early 20s.
Okay.
And so there were 2 different guys that I remembered that had very particular ways of doing things, of moving, of moving their heads and their hands and stuff. And I walked and tried to move like they did, and my voice changed, and my, there's lots of, try to do it from the inside out for me. I need to feel it in order for it, because that way I get consistent. Because if I'm just trying to come up with like a voice, I'll never remember what I did last time. But if I know how it feels,
There we go.
that I can lock into and go with, right? Matter of fact, in that play I talked about, I called it my Lucian bump, and at the time I was lucky enough to be dating a massage therapist, because I ended up with this spot between my shoulder blades that just locked up because of the way I was walking, and I was
shit.
in a lot of pain, and she was able to work that out toward the end of the run.
God.
So yeah,
But that's like a real, like you becoming,
Yeah.
how long does it take you to kind of tap into something like that? Is it just like a short amount of time, or does it take a while? Like a role like that, I guess that's a good example, because it's something that's probably like far removed from,
Yeah. I mean, plays you usually have at least a month or 2 to work on them, right?
Okay.
And normally, you start finding what you're doing in most roles, within the first couple of weeks, and but you're always finding little stuff. I mean, all the way through the performances, you're still finding little pieces of stuff that you can use and little discoveries, and that's part of what's fun too, is that you're doing it different every night.
God, that's fun.
Those little things, right? But like Lucian, for example, the character was written as a black man, and there just wasn't anybody that showed up that we were in Spokane in 2011. There weren't a lot of black actors, and there weren't any that were available for that one. So he's, the director's kind of stuck, and I went, Nate, well, what if, and actually it was David Geigler, God love him, God rest his soul, suggested me for the role. And it took until, a week and a half before we opened, before we really found his rhythm, and it was myself and the director working real hard on the physicality and just trying to find the soul of this guy, right?
Dude.
And finally it was there, yeah.
I mean, it's cool that it's important. That's like the most, you see, this is something that has always blew my mind about movies is that when you watch a movie, you can tell if it's cheesy or if it's well done. Like almost immediately, right?
Yeah.
Like you can see if it's like low budget or if it's like
Opening scene.
it just doesn't, or if it feels like oh God damn it. Sorry.
Someone
I
silence
swore
it.
that was going to be me.
But yeah, when you watch a film, you can really tell, like with the feeling, like you can tell, like when you watch a movie is like when you're a viewer, you're putting yourself in the seat of the person who's like, I'm going to watch a movie with my family tonight.
Right.
Remember back in the day, you're like, I'm going to rent a movie.
Yeah,
it was
we're
such
gonna
a
rent one, yeah.
bigger deal,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
Oh, big time.
Because
Couldn't miss.
you couldn't miss. You brought a bad movie home. It's like, oh fuck, now what are we going to do? We got 20 minutes into this shit and we can't do it. But it's crazy. Like you can tell if it's just like the acting's poor, if the chemistry's poor,
Right,
if maybe
right.
that the character wasn't worked on, maybe the director wasn't really working to create that real authentic chemistry
Yeah.
with the camera and the character.
Right.
And it's so visual. That's what's crazy. I feel like if people think, oh, I'm gonna cut this corner and it's okay. And then it's like, it's so visible. Where it's like when I hear that it's like, you're working to get that everything worked out to where it feels good.
Yeah.
That's when, because that's where that translation of, I mean, just being a director would be fucking hard as hell, dude. Like,
Oh yeah, it's
to put something together that feels, and then you
Yeah.
have to be betting that like the audience, because it's not like being on stage and being able to test it and be like, ooh, that okay.
right. You have to trust your I haven't done much in the way of directing. I've helped do a lot of things, but my buddy Dave Cotlin, his Boson Films here in town. By the way, if anybody needs somebody brilliant, Dave Cotlin is a stud. He writes, he directs, he actually can act. He doesn't like to admit it, but he's a hell of an actor. And he writes, directs. My brain just totally edits. He's an editor as well, and that's the thing. The editor is like the magic person. They take what everybody else has created and go, no, really, here's something, and it's like, holy crap, how did that work? Right?
Is that like where a lot of that movie magic comes from?
Absolutely. The director gets all the credit. The editor does all the real work. Is always the kind of the joke. And don't anybody kill me for that one, please.
No, but it really is. It's like,
yeah.
I mean,
Editor's
it's almost
the
like the
young
lead singer gets the fucking credit and nobody's fucking,
Right.
that
The
goddamn.
drummer's back there like, motherfucker, I'm keeping the beat.
Or it's like, this song would be shit without this saxophone.
Right.
That solo. Was,
Yeah. I'm playing twice as much sax
The
as you are
band
singing.
is, the bass player is always getting fucking
I mean, think
screwed.
about it. The whole movie Lost Boys wouldn't be the same without that sax player, man.
What are you loving? What have you been loving lately, movie wise? Are you a big movie buff as far as like watching movies, or?
I am, and my problem is that I watch so damn many that I'm like, there was that one about the thing with the stuff, and
Is there anything that stood out in your mind? Like, what's a good genre for you? Like, what do you?
I like the espionage movies, and the heist movies. Those are fun for me.
Okay.
I'm right
You
there
know,
with you.
I went back and watched the Italian Job again, and both versions.
Yeah.
If you've never seen the Michael Caine version, you're missing out. That
No.
was the original. It's genius.
Is this like?
Was it
like-
older?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's from 70 something, early
what?
70s, I think.
God, we're fucking brand new.
Yeah, and arguably you go back and watch that and you go, oh, because the new one's good in a new way. The old one's like, oh, that's a freaking classic.
Dude,
That is
they're probably
awesome.
gonna make it again. It's fucking goddamn it.
Yeah.
You're gonna see Italian Job 2023. I'm gonna be like, fuck.
Yeah. Or you take something like, do you remember the one Enemy of the State?
Oh my God, Will
Okay.
Smith, right?
Do you know that's a sequel?
No.
The first one was called The Conversation. Gene Hackman's character, and The Conversation is a classic. It is so Gene Hackman's character in Enemy of the State, the old CIA dude that's all paranoid. Yeah, the reason he is the first movie, The Conversation. It's intense.
So is it a sequel or it's a remake?
It's a sequel.
And Brendan's over here in real time.
Oh my god!
Well, it's like Francis Ford Coppola, and I was like, why didn't they tell us?
Oh, The Conversation? You didn't know that?
Well, I didn't know that. No, I didn't.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah, that was like right when I was
putting us
getting
on.
into film. Like I was just like, I was more excited about Will Smith. But
Yeah. Well, and that's funny because all my friends that have been through different film schools, it's amazing the films that they have seen and the films that they haven't seen, depending on their teacher's preferences. Because, I mean, it's a teacher. He's teaching you, or he or she's teaching you what they know, right? And if they have a blind spot, it's
The kids, do, yeah,
right.
The students do.
Like Meet Casablanca is probably, well, hell, there's my screensaver, on my phone.
Yeah.
So
is
that's
Bogart.
is that 50s?
1938?
30s. Damn.
Casablanca, 38?
I've never seen it. So that's a fire movie or what?
Oh my God, yes.
See, because
Yeah.
anytime something's in black and white, I get immediately discouraged. Unless it's a wonderful life.
Wow, man.
1942.
42.
He said, "Wow, man."
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be honest. Like,
No, me
but that
too.
doesn't mean that it's not good or that I'm not even going to like it. It's just that something in my brain is like, oh, that's too old. Oh, yeah,
Well, no, and that's arguably, anybody under the age of about, honestly, I'm in my early 50s, and that's even people my age, getting them to watch black and white movies is a difficult thing.
Yeah.
And until you start getting into them, and then it's like, oh God, because one of the best things I heard, it was I was listening to a podcast about movies the other day, and one of the comments was the beauty of black and white is that you then focus on the characters and the people and what they're saying. You're not distracted by the pretty. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool,
That is cool.
I feel like a lot, like especially in like the action and the CGI, like a lot of the, like I feel like sometimes they're just like, we don't even, the acting can be whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just
Yeah.
gonna
Blow
blow
something
shit
up.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're gonna have aliens falling from the
Yeah,
sky.
car chase in this part.
So I really appreciate a good on-screen chemistry and
But then you go back to a movie like, so I just watched this the other night again, The Departed. And that beginning to end,
Dude,
those characters are carrying
class.
stuff.
That is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Right there, The Departed, Leo, and fucking
Matt Damon.
who's the
Or
old
no,
dude?
Wahlberg, Mark Wahlberg.
Old dude, right? Fucking Nicholson, is he not? in
Yeah,
there?
Jack
Yeah,
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, do it. And
Leo.
you're gonna be amazed to be like, you recognize almost everybody in the movie.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
top
There's
to
so
bottom.
many. What was the other one, dude? What's the one where the reality flips upside down and shit?
Inception?
Inception,
Dude,
yeah.
that one was fire too.
Yeah. Yeah, another one, if you haven't seen it, one of my favorites is About Time. And it's
don't think I've
kind
seen
of a British film about a family, and the men in the family all have the ability to go back in time.
Wait, and this is so. What
but
year
then
is this? Is this
That
recent?
was,
or?
I don't know, probably 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
Right in there. It's Rachel McAdams and I'm never going to remember his
Domhnall Gleeson.
Okay.
It's Domhnall is like he was in Ex Machina. Like he was the opposite of what I can't think of it. Oscar Isaac and Ex Machina.
Dude, I
if you
fucking-
haven't seen Ex Machina, you see that. It's
Yeah,
one
Ex
of
Machina's a
those-
great
yeah.
movie too,
I fucking love that movie. Dude.
Well, and Bill, is it Nye? How do Nighy?
Oh yeah, and
Yeah, the guy from the old rock and roll singer from Love Actually is his dad.
okay,
And
okay.
the dad tells him, and it's you want a date movie? That's a date movie, but man, it's a good date movie.
That's cool.
Wait, which one we're talking about again? About Time.
About Time.
See, I'm
About
saying
Time.
you fly me around, Love Actually. fucking,
welcome to-
you got me
welcome to
all over
80.
the place. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait, where are we at? I'm on Ex Machina still. Like,
Welcome to ADHD.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, the whole room is full of that.
Have you seen Black Mirror?
I started watching a few episodes.
That's
of
like
it.
that's like an Ex Machina TV series, like just But it's a trip on how it's like a TV show, like basically based on like how
Reality.
technology is gonna fucking just ruin us.
Fucking hit
like
home,
because they
too.
just take technology and exaggerate it to like the levels where we've all thought, where
Yeah.
you strap something to your face and people are just on the couch and they just live there in their Sims world and they're like, I got $1 million, you know, or,
Right on.
or anything, but. Did you see? What about horror? Do you watch like a lot? Do you like a lot of horror? Or
I love horror. I just haven't had anybody to sit down and watch it with. And horror is no fun when you're by yourself.
No, and
it's not as much fun. As
it's
sharing with
hard to
somebody.
find a horror. I feel like is the genre, one of the genres that's hardest to execute. I feel
Yeah.
like because so many of them are terrible. Like it just doesn't. It's hard to scare an audience. It's hard to have new things that are really going to creep you out. One that I just watched was Barbarian.
I haven't seen that.
You should watch it, dude. It's fucking crazy. And it's one of those where it's like the first 45 minutes of the movie, you just watching a regular movie and and the whole thing that they do, I feel like that they have to do now is you just don't know what's going to happen. And that's why when I go into any kind of thriller, any kind of like horror movie, I don't want to see any trailers. I want
the same way.
Zero trailers.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
They give you way too much in the trailer.
I know.
That's our world now, where all the best parts are in the trailer.
And
Like,
so
oh, come on,
that's it, right? Yeah. So you just, I have to like not know. I have to just, I'll look at the Rotten Tomato score and I'll be like, oh, okay, so it's a good movie. Now I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to go experience and learn as I'm watching it. And I feel like trailers have ruined movies in a way.
Yeah.
Because they do, especially how they've developed into, giving you all the best. Because it just keeps going. Even like the first 15, 20 seconds of the trailer should just be the trailer.
Right.
But then
and
they
that's
just
it.
keep going.
Keep going and going and
It's
going.
every-
Yeah.
And they're just like, no, I just saw it. That's a summary.
Oh God, that's a summary. That's great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there we go. There you
Yeah.
guys go. Something to watch, okay?
There you go.
Go out there and watch some film, man. And there's the writers. How do you feel about the writers?
The writer's strike, they've got a good squawk. I mean, we've got between, and that's the thing. I wouldn't. Let's just say I don't think this is the end of it. I think the writers have a good gripe. I'm not going to go too far on that.
Yeah.
But I don't think what they're asking is ridiculous. And part of what they're dealing with is with the advancement of AI.
So is that writing scripts?
It's getting to where it can.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Did you guys
Yeah.
see the AI guy? Like, there's some dude on like my girl was watching fucking I don't know Good Morning America or one of those things, right? And this dude from Google or somebody was on there talking about how he was like, oh, dude, it's got to shut it down. You got to scale it back.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing, we're all waiting for them to become, self-aware.
That's
and-
what he was saying. He
and
was like,
Skynet
it's just
starts
not
and-
like if, it's when, and like
Yeah.
the AI is going to shut this episode down. They're going to
Right.
don't talk about us.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
that's
man.
that's freaky, man.
It is.
Let's pivot a bit out of the movie world and,
Okay.
and a little bit into how you developed into the restaurateur. I guess you could say that you are.
I literally
you didn't own a restaurant when I met you.
No,
So
that was I tripped and fell into it. Quite frankly, I've been as an actor, I've been a bartender bouncer since 1995. On and off here and there, doing as a second or third job or whatever. I've been working. Arguably, I've been working 2 or 3 jobs since I was like 16 years old. So
Wow.
that's just the way it works. ADHD, yay.
Yeah.
So my high school best friend, Kevin Pereira, freaking stud of a man. We had started kind of talking a long time back about maybe opening a pizza place or a bar or something like that, right? And in 2015, working for the cable company and having for the first time in my life a little bit of a stability, and
Yeah.
and he had the same. He'd done well, and we were at a place where it made sense to at least maybe try. And
Dude, hell yeah.
I was living up north, up near Upper Glen Eden, and I happened to drive down Wall and looked at the old Rich's Transmission, which had become a Stop and Go Burger.
Okay.
And went, it's for lease. Called him up. Hey, what do you think about this? We get the appointment, we take a look at it, and it'll be it's 8 years ago, right about now. It was 2015 that we actually opened. We opened in July. We started working on it in April, May.
Lost Boys Garage.
Lost Boys Garage Bar and Grill up on the wall just north of Francis, and we've been doing it. It's done well. It's done fairly well. For we're very, very fortunate. We got very lucky. We had started working with had started using Uber Eats and whatever else the online delivery services.
Yeah.
When COVID started,
I was gonna say,
and we were lucky enough we'd already set up, and so we found it fairly. I don't know about easy, but we were able to pivot.
I mean, it's good that you were forward thinking,
Kevin. I'm just the guy smiling. I mean, literally, my thing is I'm a big customer service nut. I believe in the Disney's level of treating customers, and I'm I'm a reasonably decent bartender, so some of that was a little bit helpful then, and we got very fortunate in hiring good people. But Kevin is the backbone of the thing. He's
the brains behind the
he's
operation.
the hardest working guy I've ever known in my life, and the guy just doesn't stop.
Dude, that's awesome.
And
that's what it takes.
That's just it. And we wouldn't have succeeded if it was up to me.
So how did it start out? Was it just you guys, or did you have?
Yeah, it was Kevin and I, and
just hired
mostly Kevin. Let's go 80-20. Literally, I'm not being self-effacing. He does almost all of it. He runs the day-to-day. He does all of that.
What an animal.
He just didn't want to be in front of people. That was the thing. He's like, I don't want to have to go out and talk to the people. Just let me be in the
you're
back.
like, no problem.
I'm like, hey, it's one thing I know how to do.
Like, bro, I knock on someone's door.
Then to be honest, he brought me in just because I knew everybody. Or everybody knew me, kind of a thing.
So it was a good draw.
It was a good draw, and we were friends. And yeah, so we've been working on that since then. And then not quite a year ago, we opened not quite a year ago, but 2.5 years ago now, we found ourselves in a situation where the old Lindemans building up on Grand at 13th was available, and we were able to get into it. And took us, I don't know, 1.5 years to get it up to where it needed to be to open.
To open it up.
And we've been working real hard with the Summit Kitchen up there. So,
dude, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
I always joke that it was, the best and worst thing we ever did. So
I really got to make my way up there. I go to Lost Boys all the time because I live right off of like Queen and Wall, so it's like in that area. So it's just like right up. I just get Uber Eats and stuff from there.
Right on.
Yeah,
well, I hope when you go in, they treat you well.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's
and thank you, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know that you guys we're doing like live music there at some point. Was that earlier on, or
well, on the patio, out on the patio, we we used to have jazz nights and that kind of thing, but we discovered that we didn't really draw any more people on a regular basis. Than we do anyway, and it takes up a couple tables and that kind of thing. So I was like, so we'll do it every now and then for special occasions.
That's cool,
just to do something different. But we're still, and arguably, we're still coming back from COVID, so people are starting to be out more, and I think downtown, I think we're back to normal more or less.
Yes,
but you get out into the neighborhoods, and then
I think
after
summer,
9 o'clock, everybody kind of disappears.
I think summer too. I think summer is going to start. This weather coming out. Like I feel like in Spokane, man, we in our shells.
Yeah,
because we're not sure yet. It'll be 80 degrees. We'll still be in a sweater. Like, I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Well, and we've always been kind of backwards compared to most bars. Summer is their slow time. And Lost Boys, we got that big patio, and
that's
so
what it is.
We have usually a huge happy hour and people hanging around.
Having the patio, man, and I feel like having a good place with a patio, and all I can ever think about it is from a consumer standpoint, because I love to fucking go places and buy good food and get good service, and
we've been so fortunate with our staff. Are awesome, and there's the thing. The only reason that we're any good at all is our staff.
Yeah,
for real. Our managers and our cooks and our bartenders, and down to the dishwashers. We've got dedicated people that really mean to be doing the best job they possibly can. We've been so lucky.
So I feel like customer service is fucking huge, and I just go places. And I'm just like, this is the worst service. Like, you just try a little bit. Like, just give me a smile. I know that you hate your life.
Well, and that's the thing. So, like anytime you walk in, you should, if you come into either Lost Boys or the Summit, you should hear, welcome to Lost Boys. Sit wherever you'd like. Or
And I do get
welcome to the
that.
Summit. Hang on, we'll have a place for you here in a minute, or because we're doing them 2 different ways. But you should hear welcome to the Summit.
When you
or
get
welcome to Lost Boys.
noticed, when they know you're there, when it's like you're not just, it's like, yeah, we'll get you a fucking table, chill out.
That's the thing. They need to be excited that you're there.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. Is that customer needs to feel like
You got to greet them.
Yes.
And say hello.
And be happy that they're there.
It sounds
Yes.
so weird, but yeah.
Yeah. And it's like,
It's funny. Rite Aid, of all the places, you go into a Rite Aid, welcome in. You hear that, and it's,
They got
I'm
that
like,
down.
okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah, right on. Sometimes it's awkward because the guy's like hiding behind the counter and freaks
just
you the
like,
hell
who
out.
said
But
Yeah, but he says it.
But he says it.
yeah. And that's just important. I mean, I think that even if you just say it and you don't mean it, even if you're just like, I hate that you're here right now, but welcome in, like make me feel good, right?
Yeah. Well, and I would argue that if you're feeling that way, you need to find a different job. Because if you had a rough day, sure, but
Because we've all been definitely had those rough days.
Yeah,
when you're
absolutely.
in customer service or in sales, and you got to go be enthusiastic, but you're not feeling it in your soul today.
You got to fake it till you feel it,
That
man.
one's
That's-
hard.
Yeah.
Fake it till
That
you feel
one's
it.
like- especially if you're knocking on doors. If you're knocking on someone's door and you're just feeling like irritated today, but they're like, all right, go out, and you're just like, I'm already a doormat. That's what I am.
Yeah.
I'm already just like the plague to everybody in this beautiful neighborhood right now.
exactly
When you
it.
walk up to someone's door and you're knocking on the door and you see the whole family eating like
You're like,
dinner, and you're
"Oh,
just like, yeah, you want to buy cable?
Yeah.
Fucking shoot me.
Yeah,
Like, That's how
right.
you feel.
But you're still knocking.
You'll get one single crazy old dude that's like, you want to check out my Porsche? And it's just like,
Yeah.
I guess we're in his garage now. I hope I don't die.
I don't know. I don't think I ever sent. Yeah, no, because we were working for corporate. So no, when I worked for the other company, there was one house that was in Felony Flats between Maple and Ash, let's just say just north of Maxwell there, where the lady would always answer the door naked. She was crazier than a loon, but she would always answer the door just full. Oh.
So she was never
So
wearing
we would-
clothes. For those statistics to line up, she just never got dressed.
So
she was like, I'm ready. Knock on my door.
Whenever I had that cocky new kid who knew what he was doing and all of that,
Set him there.
literally had one sheet that was one neighborhood that I would always hand to that kid.
Yeah, you're going to hit that one on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
This is what we call a warm lead. This
Yeah.
is, you're going to want to go to that one. Don't
it,
skip
yeah.
that one.
And man, and I always knew it'd be like, okay. And that actually would tell me whether he was working his territory too or not, whether my phone rang. Like, what the hell, man?
You're like, okay. Yeah, but you didn't get a call.
Yeah,
Like, you just
Yeah.
went and sat in the shade, didn't
It's like,
you?
you dumbass, you're on your couch. Give me a break. Yeah.
I did that. That's so funny.
Did you knock? You've knocked on. Yeah, you did.
I
a
did.
little
I
door
knocked
knock
doors
there?
and I did exactly what you guys said. I sat in the shade under a tree
feel like
for
most people-
about 4 hours of the day, every day. And
Knocking doors is a hard thing. Like when you have to go and get it. Like when you're at a job
It's
where you
the
stand
nose.
there and they come to you. That's
Right.
like, oh, okay. Like I stand here, they come in, they want me to fix a problem. Okay,
Right.
But when you're going to them, it's such a confrontation. That
Right.
you have to just like confront them in this awkward way and then be able to like smooth it out into a way where they're just like not mad that you're there now.
Yeah.
Which is almost like an impractical Joker's type of a way to
It really is.
just
Yeah.
So you'd knock on doors and kind of have that, I don't want to be here today. And then you'd make a sale and be like, I'm fucking making another sale today. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
oh,
sure
yeah.
it'd get you going.
Yeah, that's the thing. There was always that, your first sale of the day always led to the next two.
Yeah, there
no matter
we go.
what. But
I remember
getting
that
over that
little
hump,
lesson.
man. Getting over that hump.
And that's why
Yeah.
it was, when you get a sale, like sometimes an instinct would be, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to the store. When it's like, no, you better go next door,
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
like don't
Yeah.
stop, because it's like you have this, you feel good, so you almost want to just clock out and go do something fun. Where it's like take that energy you feel and go to that next door, almost that cocky but like
Yeah.
confident, real positive energy, and take
Yeah.
that to the next person. And it's crazy how like the next 1, 2, boom, another one.
Yep.
And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And
You get that momentum, and it goes. Yeah.
it was a different time. Like when you're face to face with somebody, sales is a lot easier because you can really, you can really play off of things. You can play
Well,
off.
you read
of
them. Yeah.
And the car that they're driving in the front. Yeah, no, you driving oh wow, okay. And we could talk about that. Oh, you got the flag. Your college football. Would you go there? Where you from? Where did you? Oh wow, now we're open and now we're podcasting at your door.
Right. Exactly.
Now all of a sudden we're shopping. They're forgetting. I fucking hate this guy. I told my wife I was going to get him the fuck out of here. Now I'm letting him in.
Yeah,
what am I doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, honey,
Offering
I
him a
swear
beer.
it's okay. He's cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
I always dread when the doorbell rings or someone knocks on the door and my wife goes to answer. I'm just like, oh, they're gonna sell her.
Just take your wife out of the equation. When your doorbell rings and you didn't invite anybody over,
what the fuck is that guy doing on my porch?
The world has changed. I mean, and I'm guilty of it too. I live in a place where nobody that I know is coming to knock on the door.
Yeah.
so
Right.
you're like, this is clearly.
Yeah. I might.
If this was a friend, they text.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Text
All
or
my
call,
friends
or-
got
yeah.
phones, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have any neighbors I'm good friends with.
So you guys who have knocked doors before, like, are you guys giving them the time of day when they come to the door? Do you listen?
Well, now arguably, I don't know that I've seen any.
They don't knock?
Well, the big cable company we work for eliminated. There are no more door knockers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They got rid of it. Everything's gone online or yeah. So
I got knocked for a roof.
Roof?
Like
there are roofing. Yeah, there are still
Windows.
roofing
that guy
people.
was good. I mean, he didn't roof houses. Like you could see he was way too clean cut, and he was
Yeah.
a salesman who probably sold cable at one point. And I was like, oh, and then it's tough to say no to those guys sometimes.
the best way to do it. I don't own this house. You're gonna have to talk to
That's
the
what
landlord.
I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say, answer the door naked and say you want to come in and bathe. We'll talk about it. But yeah,
But if you don't want to come in, then we're not. Yeah. What would be your rebuttal if they said, I don't own this house? You just walk away.
Yeah, if I was selling a roof. No, I mean, there's so many places you could go from there. Of course,
But you'd be like, bullshit. You or like,
or you would just say, like, I mean, really, like when you really think about it, when you're knocking on somebody's door, they're gonna greet you with a confidence, but really deep down inside, they're not ready. They're not ready for you to overcome one objection.
not the
yeah.
slightest.
Oh, so the
No.
first objection they give you,
They
if
think
you
that
don't come,
that's it. If you go past that one thing, they're like, fuck. I didn't have anything else set up for this. Like, what do I say now?
Yeah, I used to teach all my guys and gals. I keep saying guys, all my people, that they're going to decide in the first at 3 seconds, arguably probably the first half second, whether they're going to buy from you or not. I mean, and or whether there's a chance of that. If you've got something to offer or not, you have.
It's really
for
like,
them to either talk to you or not.
Yeah.
God, so like, what
I've
is the
found
move?
if you can make them laugh,
Yep.
you immediately just
I remember
gain
you were
a
saying
little bit more
pattern
trust.
interrupt.
Pattern interrupt.
He was.
You dropped the pen.
He was telling me,
the pen.
or
Drop the pen.
he would go like this, or
I
he would,
taught you that
he
one.
would,
You
he
did.
would, he would look over and be like, "Whoa," or like like a cat ran by or something, or be like, what I do for my pattern interrupt is
You fart.
Well, no, I say this is a cheesy one, but it works. Is you look familiar, and usually. Even if they look familiar or not, it's like this thing where they're like, "Oh shit, do I know this?"
Because you're not saying I know you.
You look
You're not
familiar.
saying we went to high school together. You're just keeping it very vague.
How's your daughter?
whoa.
Wait, no, what?
They're like,
Okay, whoa, that got no.
how'd you know?
Pattern interrupt. That came from Zach, which originally came from
then
him. That
that
was
pattern
great.
interrupt for me would be trying to crack a joke to get them to laugh. So whether it's their college
is in
team,
1 second.
I gotta
Like-
hit them with, and it really is like
Cougars
Ohio
suck.
State.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's so many ways that can go wrong, and that you can try to be funny.
Yeah.
You as any great comedian will tell you.
You'll bomb. Like
just
right
bomb
there in front
at the
of
door.
them.
You get 3 out of 20 if you're lucky
That's
where
it.
it works,
But I mean, like, you could even say, like, they're like, if they have a college team up and you can be like, and it's the Cougars, and you're like, Cougars suck. Like, that might even get you a sale because it might start like a little thing.
I feel like
he
that's
would
what
tell you to get the fuck off my property.
He would say, "Bro, fuck you." Yeah, like he's
And
gonna
you're
take.
just, "Oh, just
it has
joking."
to be in a way like
You'd have to
On
go.
his
You'd
team.
have to go. Cougars suck. At least ain't the frickin' Huskies.
Yeah. There we go.
And he
There
would
it
say,
is.
"Right, fucking pickleback, dude. He's been throwing interceptions," and you'd be like, "I know." whoa, dude. And then all of a sudden now you guys are bros.
And then they ask you, so what are you doing here? And then you're just like, I sell cable. I know you want it. But,
And I feel like the biggest thing that I learned was to divert from what you were selling all the time. Like, even if they were like, all right, what are you doing here? It was just like, dude, is that a Shih Tzu? Do you breed those? What do you? And then they're like, oh, it's my wife, and then just keep them talking about themselves. And then like, you'll just like, now we're in the kitchen. It's like, is that sourdough? We make it ourselves. You're just like, okay. And then it's like,
Eventually.
it's like, when people talk about themselves enough, they're like, all right, what do you do? Okay, I've told you my life story. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. And you're trying to identify the, because it was back then, it was cable internet or cable TV, internet, home phone. God help us all.
Yeah.
And we ended up with security, doing security systems, and there were where you could mix and match and save money. So that was the big deal, was to save money. Or it was like, hey, you guys, the neighborhood. How's the neighborhood around here? And they'd start talking about, oh, son of a bitch here and this, that, and the other. Hey, you know what? I see you're paying this. Hey, if we do this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And then
you'll get security.
But you get them to tell you there's a problem.
Yeah.
And then
you solve their problem.
Right, exactly.
Sales 101.
That's it.
And as long as you're sincere about it, I mean, granted, there's a lot of sales people that aren't sincere about it.
But that
if
never
you're sincere
works.
about it, you're never gonna hose them.
Yeah, I feel like the sincerity is what sells it. People, it's funny because it's very similar to that on-screen thing that we're talking about. Like when you can watch a movie and you can say, I can just watch a movie immediately and say, this is low budget. This is bad acting. They skimped on actors. They didn't pick good people. They didn't pick a good director with a vision. There's something here missing. And in this case, it's the salesman's soul. He has no soul. So we cannot buy from this person.
Well, and I won't, low budget is not something I'm worried about. I mean, for God's sakes, Clerks was done on credit cards.
You see, and it's like, I guess it's not low budget. It's like, it's poor acting.
Like
it's
no
poor,
passion in it.
Poor on-screen chemistry.
Which oftentimes is poor writing.
Poor writing.
That's
the core.
If there's you get a brilliant actor and you can deliver some just crap and it kind of works, but you can have a mediocre actor with a good script and it just gets great. I mean, it's the only reason that let's put it this way.
Damn.
My buddy Dave Cotlin writes brilliant stuff. I'm not that good. He's freaking awesome at writing stuff that makes me look good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He creates these characters. Now, granted, he calls me his crash test actor, and he just, if I'm not lit on fire or puking or crapping my pants in a thing, we're not having any fun, I guess. But
dude, I just watched this documentary. I have no idea what it was, but I just watched it recently, so it had to be at least somewhat new.
Yeah.
And it was like one of these dudes that takes like big name actors and makes shitty movies. Like he does he throws it's like all those movies where you've seen like Bruce Willis in like all the not low budget, like just kind of like he just makes these shit movies where you're like, oh, Bruce Willis is in it, and you watch and it's like Days of Vengeance.
Yeah,
and and it's not Die Hard.
Bruce Willis is in so many really bad movies right now.
Like Nicolas Cage, like there's like a lot of like actors who have been in like really good movies, but there's this one dude, there's like documentary where he just like takes these guys up and then like makes these like shit movies and then just like throws them out and gets rich off of like this.
Netflix only. Like,
I can't remember what
there's
it was.
nothing wrong. Okay, so there's something that's changed in the post-COVID. Used to be, if it was straight to video, that meant it was bad,
That meant it was
right?
bad.
Yeah.
Not true at all now. I mean, Netflix is actually making these films, as are all the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So, in this day and age, if something goes straight to Netflix, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
There's been some really good Netflix movies.
Yeah.
Originals.
God, what was that one? I feel like The Wrong Missy with fucking David Spade and I can't remember what her name is. God, it was so funny, dude. Check that out. Me and my girlfriend are just we're a sucker for comedies. Silly comedies that can't be stupid, but they got to be witty. I feel like there has to be a wittiness in the writing.
Right.
And that's where it comes. It's just like a song, man. It's just like a song. There are a million songs get made, but there's something about those songs that get you. And it's the writing. There's other things in there too.
Well, and you can do bad and have it be good. Napoleon Dynamite. I hated Napoleon Dynamite the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
And then, the next
Because your expectations were maybe
I didn't know anything about it. And I walk in, I'm like, this is the most boring, stupid, flat. What is this? And then the next day, I heard myself going, yeah, you're ruining my life. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm quoting that piece of shit. What? And then I went back and, no, it's pretty genius. I just didn't get it.
So what is that? Like, is it just that somebody's taking a leap and it's not what you have seen before?
Right. I mean, take a look at Ron Burgundy, Anchorman, or a good portion of what Will Ferrell does. That uncomfortable comedy. Yeah. The stuff where it's just it makes you uncomfortable. Well, now we're used to that.
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean, it was like the crude comedies back when. It started with Something About Mary, where she did the hair gel and all that, and it was just like, what the hell? This is fucked up. What are we? Huh?
Yeah.
And now that's
shocked people.
That's just everything now. Yeah. It's funny. So yeah.
So what a risk for the writer. It's like, no, we're going this direction. I think this is funny, and I'm just like, I just need it this way.
Yeah.
I mean, think about like American Pie. They were like, you're gonna fuck a pie.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you sure this is gonna work? Like,
Right.
like are you sure? Like, some of those like cult ones that just became a hit that you're just like,
Although now I was gonna say, when was the last time anybody watched American Pie in this culture?
Oh my God.
In the social culture right now.
it says that they're making a new one too. And I'm like, God damn
it's going to be so tame.
They do. And that's the problem. No, how many movies can you go back and say they couldn't do that?
Yeah, lots.
Lots of movies. I can't remember what I watched,
Yeah,
but
me
I
neither.
just watched something recently that I was like, this could not happen.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot. Me and my girl were watching Tu Wong Fu.
I love that movie.
Dude, it's a fire
Fucking
movie.
love that movie.
And I told my girl, I was like, we got to watch this shit. And she was just like, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, Swayze on point. in that
Dude,
one.
and she was blown away. She was like, what?
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes? And then who was the other guy? It was
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, dude.
There's a guy who is one of the most brilliant people in the world who has made so much really bad stuff.
Yeah.
So if you ever get a chance, there's The Freak and The Pest.
Yeah, The Pest.
The Pest is that everything's crazy. He had a one-man show called The Freak, which is just him talking about his life and going through, and he plays his family and all these different characters. It is one of the most impressive pieces of theater I've ever seen. The thing is, and if you can find it, it's called The Freak. It's John Leguizamo, The Freak. And you'll laugh your ass off to the point where you're crying. You'll cry to the point where you're laughing. It's It's incredible. Yeah,
And that's a movie.
Yeah, and so there's a few of those. It was a stage show that they filmed, is what it was.
Oh, okay.
And speaking of that, the other one would be Mike Tyson's one-man show that he did on Broadway.
When was this?
10 years ago. If you get a chance, go find it.
It's good.
It'll blow your mind. Wow. Yeah, it's just like Mike Tyson talking in the microphone, and he's got that, that whole thing. And he walks through his career, and
no way.
It's incredible.
Wow.
Sick.
And the pause.
No, I like it. Just let it sit there. What are your tell me some stories that you got about some cool people that you've met in your endeavors acting. I'm very curious, and just
in acting.
Just in life, like some of the people that you've met, some of the situations that you've been in that are just kind of.
I got to stand next. So I was in a Chuck Norris movie called The Cutter, and I got to stand next to Chuck Norris. So all the jokes where Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups, he pushes the earth down, right? So there's a whole series of those jokes. Well, somebody made a coffee book table out of those, and I happened to be standing next to him when I think it was his manager or whatever, handed him the book. And he stood there, and it's this little, coffee table book, and he's reading through it, and he's laughing at some of them. And then, it was just the coolest thing. And then he opened one, and they talked about him beating up Jesus or something, and he didn't like that one so much because that's that was sacrilegious. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like an interesting little view into the guy. Yeah, he's very much Christian, and it's like, okay, that's interesting. And
is he tall?
No, he's
Short guy.
Yeah, little guy. He's
guy.
a little guy. I'm 6'3", so everybody's a little guy. To me,
But
that
still,
isn't taller.
like
but
under
yeah.
6 foot. Like,
Oh yeah. Most of the actors around are in the 5'6", 5'8" range.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I think Tom Cruise is actually. I think he's 5'4" or 5'6".
Because I've known Tom Cruise because it's always been like, he had to stand on a phone book next to Katie Holmes in that People magazine picture to get the, that was always been the jokes about Tom Cruise because he's such a badass.
Yeah,
but
Travolta was huge because he was 6 foot. Chris Pratt is huge because he's 6 foot, right? So that's
okay. But dude,
Yeah.
Chuck Norris, dude, I'm blown away that Chuck
Yeah.
Norris would be such a little guy.
Antonio
man.
Banderas. I met him, a little guy too.
Really? See, because these are big movie stars. You're talking
Yeah.
Zorro, man.
Yeah.
You're talking fucking
they're all
Walker, Texas Ranger,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
They're all World War II size, yeah.
But they
Everybody's
fucking
tinier.
shoot him up a little bit, make him.
Yeah.
get that angle right.
Who else? Is there anybody else that you've met that kind of blew your mind, or that you were even in the same room with? That you kind of
Yeah.
That's just, dude. I saw you. Okay, I'm gonna let your mind wander a little bit. This is gonna
Okay.
fucking. I know that you don't remember this, right?
Lord.
But do you know who DaBaby is? Okay, so this is a rapper, big rapper. His name is DaBaby.
Baby's
Everybody
a
watching obviously knows who DaBaby is. He's grunting, and he's got like a cast on his arm, and he's just like he's got a show in Spokane. He's a huge rapper, right? And I was just like, oh, DaBaby's got a show in Spokane, so I'm just gonna look at his story, see what he's doing. And he's just like at his truck, and he's just like, yo, and he's just like talking shit, and then he's just like, hey, you, and he's just like, and all of a sudden, Jhon
I'm on his Instagram.
around, and
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck, dude? I know this.
How did that? What's
Do you remember
going
this?
I do.
on? What's going on there?
What happened?
How is you and the baby crossing paths?
So I'm a runner for. I've been a runner for the Knitting Factory. I've been a runner for the Arena. So I've taken care of a lot of the artists there. And a runner is the person who just takes care of the artist. Sometimes you drive them around. Sometimes you grocery shop for them.
Wow, that's a gig you've done over the years.
Yeah, it's a side gig. It's kind of fun. Yeah, I had work. See, this is going to be out on the internet, and I can't say anything that's probably too libel here.
Yeah, but you can
So
keep
let's
it
just
fun.
say that there was an artist I worked with.
Okay.
Okay. You're talking about that one, and okay, sure, but let's just say there's an artist that I worked with.
Okay.
Who the only place? So I was his driver and his posse's driver for the day. This artist and.
That had to be interesting.
Oh man!
Where is this going? I'm so curious.
So
He's being careful.
Yeah, I have. Well, I don't want to go too far because.
Yes.
What's Thumper say? If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
Just
yeah.
you can say it. It's okay. This is a low level podcast. Nobody
Yeah,
listens
right,
to this.
Yeah. The only person all day long that recognized this guy, because no, he's not a big rapper. He's just a rapper.
Yeah.
And the guy's whatever. This guy is just, the only person the entire day throughout the entire place until he made the stage that even knew who the hell this guy was this young kid. We're standing out. So first off, he asked me, where's a great place for steak and seafood? So I call in a favor and get him a thing at an incredible steak place here in town. Downstairs, I call, I know the people, so I call and, hey, can you take care of me? Yeah, we'll tuck him away. Okay, he wants to kind of be private and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Great. We pull up in front. He spends 10 minutes on the phone talking with somebody about, I don't know how big he is or whatever. And we get done. He's like, where are we? So I tell him we're at the steakhouse. Yes, but yeah, is there a Chipotle here? Yes, sir. There's a Chipotle here. Okay, take me there. Okay, fine. So we drive to the Chipotle.
After you called in a favor.
After calling in a favor, yeah. That was good. I mean, that's part of the job, though. It does happen.
Okay.
That's
So you were like, never mind.
Rude, but it's a thing. But we're standing outside Chipotle, backed in, and this college kid in a little, beat up car pulls in and goes into the pizza joint next to the Chipotle, and I see him see the artist, and eyes light up. Oh, and he's just this innocent, awesome kid that's, and
Just blown
he's
away.
trying-
You're in Spokane.
But he's trying not to look. He's trying to be, just
He's like, that's the baby.
that's yeah. Or that's the artist. I don't know who you're talking about, but
yeah.
And he goes in and he gets his order, And he comes out, and and of course, this particular person, even it's legal here in Washington State, but they're still smoking their grape cigars that have been split open with the weed in them.
Yeah.
So it's just really stinky. And they're fooling somebody, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're standing outside the car doing that, and the kid comes out, and he very respectfully gets about 30 feet from the front of the truck, and he's like, "Pardon me, but can I maybe get a picture? Would that be okay?" And the artist leans back into the door, and they're all standing outside, and his security guy, big guy, "No, you get out of here, man. You go on." And he's just rude as shit to the kid.
Damn.
Kid looks like he's been slapped, and walks back inside, and gets his order and walks back to his car and tries not to look at everybody as he goes to his car, which is parked 10 feet from the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear from the artist, "Yo, baby brother, it's all about love." I'm like, what the hell, man?
To the kid.
To the kid. He just ignored him until he was getting in his car, and then "Yo, baby."
That's all he wants is a
It's like,
picture.
whatever. Yeah. And then we go back to the venue, and we sit at the venue for an hour and a half in the truck, in the parking garage, smoking out and making phone calls and all.
Were you
Goes
getting
on-
high from that secondhand smoke?
I don't know. not my thing, but let's just say I got out of the truck a lot. I don't even think he was on stage for 20 minutes.
Really?
And one of his guys needed to get on an airplane and get out of here. So
That was it.
that was it.
Weird.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I've never had a more... I've never had less respect for an artist than that day with that particular artist.
Wow.
Damn. So what are some artists that you fucked with that were like that was fun? Like that you had like some of the more
Walker Hayes, man. I got to drive Walker Hayes.
Who's that?
He's a country artist.
Okay.
And he was playing the arena, and I get the, "Hey, I'm in my own car at this point." Normally you've got a vehicle you drive if it's more than a few people, but I'm in my own vehicle. And he's staying at the Holiday Inn Express out by the airport.
What the hell?
Yeah, just
So were you intimidated? Like I'm about to pull up in my own ride? I got
No.
You have a nice car.
I'm used to it. I got an okay car. It's fine, but it's
Swooping up a
just a job. You're just going to get somebody, and I've been doing it long enough. It's not that big a deal. But he comes out. He's carrying his guitar, and we put that in the trunk. And he sits down. He gets in the car, and I'm like, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm John." He's like, "Okay." And we start talking. He's like, "Well, what about you?" I said, "Well, I'm an actor." And he's like, "An actor, man? Oh my God! I met my wife in Little Shop of Horrors in high school. He played Seymour, and she played the lead. I don't know if you know Little Shop of Horrors, but
yeah. And
he
like,
played
it was
the
like a
nerdy
play.
guy.
Or he was in it? Or
Yeah,
like-
he was in it in high school with his wife, and that's how they met, and they've been married since. I'm like, "That's awesome, man." And he's like, "You know what? I would give up country music to play Don Quixote in Man of La Mancha." And I'm a nerd. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I'm like, "I am I Don Quixote." And he and I sing "To Dream the Impossible Dream" and all these things as we're driving to the frickin' arena. But one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. The guy is just humble as hell. He's his song is the Applebee's song. Fancy Like is the name of the tune, which I would normally make fun of because it's country rap, it's country poppy stuff.
Okay.
But that's his life. He's
Yeah.
got these kids and this wife that are just awesome. He's one of the few artists that, where the crew eats is called catering, and normally the artists don't even come in there. He and his family come in and sit down and eat with everybody else. The kids are in the corner, a bunch of 6, 8-year-old boys, and they're running around, but they're behaving, and mom's keeping them in check. And the arena genius, the arena folks gave them all personalized Nerf guns,
Oh, sick.
but they're shooting each other. They're not shooting anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just this refreshing. Like, these people are awesome.
That is cool.
And then probably the coolest thing for me was I'm across the room in this big room with all the crew and everything, and he looks up, makes eye contact, and he says, "Hey, John." Yeah, he goes, "To dream the impossible," and we start singing together for a minute, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm just a nerd. This is awesome."
No, but I mean, it's like
That
it's
was
like
cool.
it's almost the that cool rapport that you guys had built in that car ride. It stood out as like, this John is my guy when I'm here in Spokane,
and he was humble and he was cool, and that was just awesome. Yeah. So the only, if you want one more,
please.
And I know he has a mixed reputation, having done a few movies here, but I drove for Cuba Gooding Jr. for a movie.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And he decent guy, nice enough guy. I mean, there's all that other stuff, but
I don't know the other stuff, so I'm just
people who are listening to this will be like, "Oh, that guy," and because he Yeah, some issues.
He's done a
but-
bunch of shit. Like
done a bunch of
he's
stuff
like
here.
one of those guys who's done like a ton of movies.
Yeah. And I think he's done 4 here in Spokane.
Yes, that's right.
But for one of them, it was Easter Sunday, and I'd gone a bit with my family, and he called me. He's like, John, there's a, I don't think it exists. I guess maybe they do. There's a Hooters here in Spokane. I'm like, yeah, there
Yes,
is.
in the valley. That's
He's
right.
like, can you take us there? It's he and his cousin, who's his stand-in. I'm like, okay, sure. So I go pick him up, and we're headed out there. And as he gets,
right?
Yeah.
so did you ever see his movie Radio?
Oh yeah.
So he, played a special kid.
Yeah.
And his phone rings, and Radio, hello, and he
That's how he answered it?
he talks to his wife for a little bit, and then he hangs up, and I have Radio sitting in the seat next to me for the next 10 minutes.
Like he's just playing the character.
I'm sitting there with Radio.
Holy
Nobody
shit.
else in the world has had that experience. I've got this thing where I got to chat with Radio for 10 minutes.
No, that's what's crazy.
That
Pretty
would be
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
And it was just him fucking around. He was having a great time. It was
I mean,
awesome.
because when you meet an actor, all you want to do, like if you met a notable actor, then a regular person would say, "Do the fucking character
Yeah,
for
right.
me,"
When they
right?
just do it.
But when they just do it, and you get to be in the presence of it,
it was really an honor. It was pretty cool.
dude, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
God, what was a couple fucking Cuba Gooding Jr. movies? He had this one that I watched. It was called fucking. It was called.
If you say Snow Dogs, I'm making fun of you.
Oh well, Snow Dogs, of course. But dude, this one, this was like more of a underground. It was with him and fucking dude. It's called dude. I'm gonna kill myself. And when I do these podcasts and I think back later, like, yeah, motherfucker, you
was
couldn't
right there,
think about
dude.
it. It was
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
But they had to keep like some shit cold at a certain temperature. It was called Chill Factor.
Oh, wow.
That's what it was called, dude. It was an old school one. But Radio definitely. What was the one where he was on a boat with? It was with him and Horatio.
Oh my
Sands.
God! They were on the gay cruise. Was it Boat Trip?
Boat Trip or
Was it
something like that.
Boat? Yeah,
I think
something
it was
like that.
Boat Trip.
That was horrible.
God, oh
Yeah.
my God! But like there was like the idea, like they're like, yeah, we're on this cruise.
It's like, gee, that was only slightly homophobic. Oh, great, we're good.
Oh,
you know,
and that was definitely one of those. That
couldn't do a day on any level.
Or it would
Yeah.
definitely look a lot different.
Yeah.
It would look a lot
Yeah.
different.
I mean, on the other hand, he was, in A Few Good Men, one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
God.
And that's, he was definitely kind of a Nicolas Cage-esque, in some very solid movies. Did a lot
some
of
very
crazy
questionable
wild-
ones.
Okay, there's one. Nicolas Cage. Have you watched Pig?
No, but what's up with it?
It's freaking awesome.
Okay, thank you. I just need somebody to tell
set
me.
in Portland. I think it was shot in Portland, and this guy's I don't know how much I want to give away. It's one of those where you probably shouldn't know about it, but just
Okay.
go see it.
Okay.
But
I've seen it. I
Is
saw
he a cop?
No, he's a former chef, and he has a truffle pig, and somebody takes his truffle pig,
Okay,
That's
so
it,
I
right
saw
there.
it's
There
a
you go.
John Wick almost. Like he's
only with heart. Granted, John Wick has heart, but
okay.
yeah.
Because honestly, I saw that and I'm, I mean, come on. Like you're sitting here, you want to pick a movie. There's
Yeah.
Pig.
Yeah.
And it's just him on the front of it, just looking.
What the hell?
You-
It's a slow mover, but that's a pretty solid, like, low budget, cool movie.
I love that.
Yeah. Or Dog. That's the other one.
Him too?
What? No, that's who is that? Channing Tatum.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, we watched
Freaking great
that.
flick.
Yeah, we loved that. Touching. He military guy. This dog was needed to be transported or something.
So
I
it was
can't-
his partner's
That's what his partner
one
died.
of his partners, and the dog was his service dog in combat. Was his combat dog.
Yeah.
And he got killed, and so he had to get the dog.
His dog had like PTSD. and
Right,
was, like,
exactly, and had to get him
there was
back to the family, back
ton
to the
of heart.
or to the burial.
That shit's
Yeah.
gonna make you cry.
By the way, there's one. Speaking of getting, it's an HBO movie from years ago that Kevin Bacon did called Taking Chance, and it's like an hour and 10 minutes
Never
long.
seen it. No, I haven't seen that one.
Find it. It's on HBO. Find it. That's a huge, very, very accurate, cool movie. It's about a real guy.
Taking Chance.
Taking Chance. If you can find that one, do that. Yeah.
So, okay. This has been an absolute pleasure. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much for this. I didn't know you were just called. I thought I was just joining you guys to talk about something else, but you actually are talking about me. This is weird. Thanks.
This is all we
I'm like,
fucking
damn,
care about.
my ego is just all kinds of out of control.
No, this
here.
is amazing. I'm so excited. This is exactly what I was hoping it would be. I'm very interested. Like, if you had to go like top 3 most influential films in your life, that kind of and you don't have to think about it too much. But things that really resonated with you that you think that would be like a must-see for the younger people out here who haven't, if you could put people on to 3 films that really made you feel something.
Oh, damn, dude.
I'm just curious. I don't want to make you think too hard, but.
Princess Bride.
Oh my God.
No matter what.
Damn,
You hit me in my heart.
that's a
right
good
there.
choice.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. You killed my father.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, let's do a couple lines from
You ready?
Princess Bride.
Hello,
Remember?
my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
At the top of that cliff, after he got to
Yes.
the top, and he was like, he sure as shit is coming up that fucking, he's down there, and he's coming up slowly but surely. Oh,
I love that
great.
one motherfucker, the trickster motherfucker, that short, bald motherfucker who's trying to switch the drinks
He's
with
like,
him.
listen. Yeah, he's like, if I do this to you, and he's switching it. Oh, that was such a good movie. In the
good.
quicksand,
Yeah.
or he's like, as you wish,
the
and
fire
goes down
swamp.
the hill. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh, the fire story.
As you wish.
Yes. Oh my God, what a fucking
Yeah. I
classic.
don't think that means. What do you think that means?
Yeah.
You keep using that word. Yeah.
And then who's the big dude?
That's Andre the Giant.
Yeah, I know, but like he
Fezzik.
had, yeah. What was his name in it?
Fezzik.
Yeah, that's right. And he
Hey,
was like,
lady.
yeah.
I am the
And then-
dread
and
pirate
then remember he was fighting him, and
Wobbert.
he's just like,
Dude, it's crazy how such an old movie with just like, no special effects, just great chemistry, comedy. That's really what it was. It was a strange comedy.
It's one of those movies that it's an adventure, it's a drama, it's a comedy, it's a romance, it's
Yeah.
you
It's
name
heroic.
it. Yeah, it's everything. Yeah.
yeah, the drinks when he
Good
poisons
call.
himself. Remember?
Iocane powder. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Inconceivable. That's it. There it is. There's the line
Yeah.
right there.
fucker.
Inconceivable with a lisp.
Yeah.
Oh, I can picture him.
Yeah, he's what's his name?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, you
remember?
got this one, B. What's his name?
Princess Bride.
Which one?
Short
Sean.
dude, bald.
Inconceivable.
Oh, Sean.
Inconceivable.
Sean. I don't know what his last name is.
That's the most important name.
I know it is. And
lot
his
of
name is
Seans
for
out
Sean.
there.
Sean. He's the teacher in
A teacher
Clueless.
in young
Clueless.
young Sheldon.
He's-
Yeah.
I was
he's-
just gonna say, like,
he's
is
in a lot of
he
things.
notable right now?
Sean Wallace. I got it without looking it up.
There we
Sean
go.
Wallace.
Sean Wallace. It's. Never mind. Anyway, sorry. We'll spend 10 minutes doing that.
Everybody at home wants to
So that's
know.
one.
Sorry, it's Wallace Sean.
Wallace Shawn. There you go. Wally Shawn. Yeah.
You were like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
won't go there. But
Wait,
it's something.
Sean's his last name?
Yeah. Yeah.
He has two first names. You can never trust him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You ever notice that everybody who kills the president has 3 names? What's that about?
I gotta think about that.
No, it is though, because it's like a very.
I just broke them, didn't I?
You did. You just broke the fucking.
I'm trying to think of everyone's name that I know. There's 3 good names.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, watch
John
out.
Wilkes Booth, Lee
Yeah, it's like-
Harvey Oswald, and I have no idea who killed James
Patton
Buchanan.
Oswald killed somebody?
Oh Lord.
Okay. Yeah. What else?
So that
what
was
else-
number
yeah.
one.
What
Number
else is
2?
really, dude? Princess Bride. What a fucking awesome call out, dude.
That
I mean,
might
you
have
got
been. That'd probably be
fucking
on
Fred
my list.
Savage, dude. Fred Savage
Yeah.
is the young kid,
Yeah.
dude. God, classic.
You keep getting excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
Peter Falk. Oh, that was
Oh,
incredible.
Peter Falk. He's the dad, right?
Yeah, it's the grandpa.
Or the grandpa.
Yeah,
that's
that's
right.
reading
yeah.
to him. So I'm a former Navy hospital corpsman. I'm a big fan of the Marine Corps. I worked with the Marines. I love them to death. And A Few Good Men is probably, that's my, no matter where I am, I walk through a room. If it's on, I'm there.
So who stars in that? That's
Everybody. That's
Tom Cruise is in that?
Tom Cruise plays, yeah.
I just
Lieutenant
guessed.
Caffey. You've got.
I know I've seen it.
You've got Demi Moore. You've got Kevin Bacon, you've got Kiefer Sutherland, you've got Cuba Gooding Jr., you've got, I mean, you just keep going.
Wow, that's awesome. A Few Good Men. Yeah, I know I've seen it.
And arguably, I'm a little privileged. I love that one a little bit because that's Aaron Sorkin is the writer, the guy who did West Wing and Sports Night and The Network.
Okay,
the most recent Showtime show.
Oh,
the
cool.
guy's just incredible writer. Just they're wordy. It's instead of it being 1 page per minute, it's about 2.
Oh wow,
pretty incredible. But I had the privilege on stage of playing Lieutenant Jonathan James Kendrick, which was Kiefer Sutherland's role in the movie. And I got to play it in 1998 when I was still in somewhat, shape from being in the service.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, when I was, around like I am now, and it was weird to play it on stage twice and get to play the role because it's a little more fleshed out in the play. But man, it was, I love that script. That script is chewy.
Now, see, this is like
chewy.
I like these kind of
You
conversations.
want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. I mean, it just, come on.
This is the stuff that gets people to go back and watch.
Yeah.
Whether it's music and movies, that they're synonymous, and that's why there's, music in movies, and movies are, like music is like movies. Like it's really crazy how they're very synonymous, but it's you can always go back.
You take the John Hughes movies, all the old '80s, Breakfast Club and all of those, and the music's very intentional in those whole things.
Oh, the music, the soundtracks. You know who does a really good soundtrack? Okay, Adam Sandler. Does a really good soundtrack. You ever seen The Water Boy?
Oh, absolutely.
Great soundtrack.
Wedding Singer.
Wedding.
Incredible soundtrack.
Yeah.
He sings.
He does.
In one of those,
And it's like you can actually sit there and listen to it.
You can look up Adam Sandler on Spotify, and that #1 song is that. I'm pretty sure is that song that he sings at the end on the plane. That
really?
I wanna. I wanna.
Grow old with you.
I want to grow old with you.
Dude, that one will get
it's
you.
great.
That shit'll get me, dude.
Yeah.
As a kid, I'm just like, oh shit, yeah.
Bring you to when your arthritis is bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his funny shit is just like his funny songs are great. I love
The
it.
soundtracks are definitely key in tying in. Like, there's something there when you have a movie and whoever the music director, whoever is looking for that perfect song for that scene, and I mean it's crazy how a movie is such a big thing that is a job right there. Like, what matches this scene there, we're talking Land Before Time. Okay, you got the animals. They're going out.
job,
What are we doing a symphony? Are we picking a song that already exists? Are we, what is encapsulating triumph here? What is encapsulating? That's fucking crazy. And to have the pressure to pick the right music, and then when that actually resonates with the people, and that becomes one of your favorite movies or whatever, because it's just that all ties in to be this. It's just a whole package.
Right on.
So what do you got? We got
Those
Princess
two.
Bride, A Few Good Men.
Jeez, I didn't even know I was going to do this.
Hey, I wasn't going to give you a top 5. I figured that'd be too many. So 3.
No,
but then when you whittle it down,
That's
it almost
the
makes it
beauty.
harder.
That's
right?
the beauty.
The narrower you get, the tougher it is.
Because we're not
Because
going
you can't throw Groundhog Day in there no matter how many times you've watched it. I mean, you just
movie.
can't.
We're not going to hold you to this, John.
Yeah.
This third one can be an alternate.
God, let me think here.
We already got the first 2.
Those are solid.
How about you? What's your? Each of you give me one.
Okay, I'll give you one. Kill Bill.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll say Kill Bill is definitely one of my favorite movies. Action wise.
It was kind of like its own thing when it came out. Remember?
That's why I like
it
it.
was like
Yeah, it's really got a. Yeah, I really like Kill Bill. I would say, but I'm not thinking. I'm just trying to throw.
Oh, I got one. I got one that captured me. You guys remember Kids?
Oh gosh.
Oh
yeah.
my God, bro. You're gonna fuck me up
for-
right now.
for
God, help
Rosario
me.
Dawson,
I'm
is that
this
why?
much older than you. I know of it, but I've never watched it.
Oh, dude, it's
I'm sorry.
fucking weird.
It's wild.
It's wild.
It's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
I mean, it's basically a movie about kids in New York in the 80s, 90s. It's not pretty.
It's not pretty.
You're-
And like this whole time when
And
you
it's
guys were talking,
real as fuck.
when this whole
Like-
time when you guys were talking about like low budget and like, but it still had like
That's
it
it.
resonated and like I remember I went into someone's basement and they're like, oh, we're watching Kids, and I was just like, what the?
I promise
fuck
you,
is this?
there are kids that are our age now, in our 30s. I'm 36, so you got people that are in their age right now who are like, yeah, I wore a condom because I watched Kids.
100%.
I'm saying,
It's fucking crazy.
It taught lessons.
Yeah.
It taught lessons. It is a brutal movie. It was, even when you were a kid and you were watching it, you were 18, 19. It was like, oh, you watch Kids. You're like,
Well, that was the fucked up part. Is like you're like the name Kids, and then you watch it as a kid, and you're just like, oh my god, why did like that? I grew up like in 2 hours right there.
yeah, that's what it was. It's brutal. Man.
It's dark. It's a little dark.
It's
but it also was a good movie.
It was almost like it's almost like a documentary. That's
Yeah.
almost what it was. It was like a
And
documentary
there wasn't a
following
lot of that right
these
then.
kids just stealing 40s and shoving them in their pants while they distract the guy and they're fucking sneaking them out. And then
Sounds like a Saturday night when I was 17.
it was.
You'll love it.
But you're
Yeah.
talking New York City.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
like
skateboarding and like raunchy action.
kids.
Bad.
Because we're talking about movies that made you feel something.
Well,
I
yeah,
just
it
picked
was-
one of my favorite movies, but
I
that's
just
a movie that
threw
makes you
one
feel.
out that was just like if I had to think of something that was like resonated, like holy shit. When I
Because
was a
Pulp
kid.
Fiction, I guess, would be a
Another
better
one.
pick. Would be another pick over Kill Bill, honestly, of something that made me feel something when you were like taking storylines and breaking them up and then bringing them back together and like that kind of shit was always. I was always into I like twists and turns.
Yeah, that's why that got me. That movie.
That makes sense. I'm pulling something up on the phone. I'm not just being a dickhead and getting on the phone.
I'll throw in mine.
Go.
My movie that like kind of changed my like probably my humor is Royal Tenenbaums. Like
Oh, man.
I just Wes Anderson, anything he does like is
Royal Tenenbaums
great.
is
Like, and I watched Royal Tenenbaums over and over again, and I will like actively just like die and find something new in it that like was just like something that you didn't see, and like, but it was also like it was cool. Like it came out in 2002 when I was a senior in high school, and it was like cool to like it. But then like you start watching it and learn it, like it's so good. And then you go back and watch all of his other stuff, and then all the
so
stuff he
much.
comes out with now is it's just so tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
And I'm that guy that I try to get Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
And it hasn't soaked into me yet. I've watched him and I'm like, okay. But I'm that guy that's like, okay, I don't quite get it.
I literally die laughing at things, and I'm very sarcastic. I'm a very sarcastic person. Like I'm very dry in nature, and like when I text with people, and I love fucking with people. My favorite thing to do is like to text Zach and be like, "Oh shit, I forgot about it," and just have him just like.
He knows I'm tripping.
He knows I'm tripping. Oh shit, I really
You
forgot.
can hear the vein in his head.
I'm like, but John is like, he's coming. He's on my
I forgot to record all of that.
Oh man, I forgot to hit the button.
I'm sorry, Zach.
It's okay.
So you mentioned Pulp Fiction. Zed's dead, baby.
Oh my god, dude! You know who else this is? Fucking The Mask.
you,
dude.
you're
That's
stud.
Peter Green.
He's
How long
Yeah.
ago was that?
That's when I was that's 1996.
'Cause when I was-
Is it really?
That's the rap party for Endgame with
Oh,
Cuba,
cool.
the one movie I'm in with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Because when I was a kid, The Mask was the fucking shit.
Yeah.
With Jim
Oh,
Carrey.
look at Cuban. Oh,
Yeah.
man, look, he's cheering.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's a
He feels
podcast. Everybody's
comfortable right
listening to
there.
this.
Like,
You
I'm
better
sure you guys are friends.
You got to
by
send me these because I want to put these up.
No, there's one that. So that's Mozart and the Whale.
Hold on.
Oh, this is fascinating to listen
Dude,
to for the people, I'm sure.
Hold on. This is
I don't no idea.
Take the glasses away.
God, I just want to say
This is how he was incognito.
I feel like this is not the person I'm thinking of. It. Who is it?
And my brain locks up. It's it's on Mozart and the Whale. He and Rhoda Mitchell. It is from Pearl Harbor.
Oh, Ben Affleck?
No,
Josh Hartnett?
Josh Hartnett. Thank you, God, my brain.
Do it, dude.
Sweet guy. We worked together for 2 weeks, and I'm blanking on his name.
Oh,
That's
you were in Squid and the
great.
Whale?
Mozart and the Whale.
Oh, Mozart and the Whale, sorry.
It's funny. I do the same thing. Yeah, yeah. I was in Mozart and the
that
Whale.
is
I played
crazy.
Rodney.
That's right, Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
You're talking.
Oh, there you go. There's Danny Trejo's henchman. This last winter.
Damn.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, I'm over here raising my hand.
On camera, I love
Homo the Brave.
Yeah.
What was that? What scene were you in? I've never, honestly, I've never seen this movie, but like it's one of those movies that was filmed in Spokane that like I feel like if you were around like downtown at the time, like you knew that Samuel Jackson was here, 50 Cent, Jessica Biel.
Oh, how many years ago was this?
By the way, Jessica Biel, the only actress I've ever met who is far more beautiful in person than she is on film.
Wow.
My God, she's a pretty woman.
Wow.
Sorry, that's.
I think we can all echo that.
But how long were you on set for? And like, what did
I was 1 or 2 days. So that's the thing. I'm that guy that I get like a day on a movie. Usually, 1 or 2 days. I think it was 1 or 2 days. So I was the SWAT team sergeant in that movie, there's a story we should have had. Sorry, I should have probably told you that one.
There's no limits here.
The Dutch Bros down at 2nd and Washington, right? They blocked off the whole thing. It's the SWAT team because the star of the movie is inside and there's a problem, or one of the stars of the movie is inside, threatening himself. 50 Cent is inside. And again, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Anyway, I am on scene with Spokane SWAT team, the actual SWAT team, which my dad was an original member of. So that's kind of wild.
Whoa.
I'm wearing the same uniform my dad wore, except I had sergeant stripes, which was just surreal. And we're doing maneuvers back and forth from the Bearcat, from their armored vehicle up. And that was a whole night where they closed down the block. They're diverting traffic around, and we've got, we do all the shots, we do the takes. I got really lucky that that one was directed by Irwin Winkler, who he was the producer in all the Rockies, Raging Bull.
Oh, wow.
He directed My Life as a House. The guy was just this decent, heavy hitter, good guy. And I got his Hitchcock moment in the movie where he puts on a police jacket and comes out of the Dutch Bros after it all happens, and he walks by and talks to me as he goes by. So I kind of got this cool little moment with this, Hollywood legend guy, kind of neat. But the part that was wild was, it was an overnight shoot, so it was all dark, and they had the helicopter come in and shoot over the top of it, and that was like, half an hour. We just kept having to do the same maneuver, the cops moving in and doing their thing, and moving in and doing their thing, and I've got one quick little line in there, what is it? It's been in there for about an hour, kept asking for you. And then I screwed up my next line is, how do you guys know each other? And I said, you guys work together or something? And he's like, yeah, we work together. And it's the other actor, Brian Presley, I think is his name.
He just rolled with it.
And he's like, but you can, if you watch it and I fucked up, you could look at the look in his eyes like, you idiot.
They used that.
Yeah, we worked together, and that's what ended up in the film was my fuck up. So that's funny. But it was crazy because the whole scene. Are we okay to do spoilers on here?
Oh God!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please spoil Homo the Brave.
Yeah. So 50 Cent's character is suicidal. He's locked himself in the coffee shop with, I think, his girlfriend, if I remember correctly. And so we have a sniper on the roof. So my whole joke is I'm the only cop who's ever actually killed 50 Cent. Well, technically the sniper did, but I ordered it. Right?
Yeah.
But it was just surreal because standing there, and I have a background with law enforcement, and I look up on the rooftops, and there's the sniper that's lit up, that's on the building, the low building behind us. That's the
Big Dipper.
No, other way.
Okay.
The other way. It's a we don't know the name of it building.
It used to be the studio podcast.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Oh,
it's like a three. Isn't it?
It's right next door to Dutch Bros.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah.
It's in the parking lot kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, on that rooftop, because I think it was either empty or something at the moment. But there's the movie sniper. But then I look around, and all the rooftops.
Oh.
Because we have the SWAT team they're not loaded.
Oh.
They have no live weapons and a known gang member in the movie. So they have to protect that SWAT team. We've got real cops that are SWAT who have all their gear, but no ammo. They're putting a live weapon on set.
Yeah.
And, as we've all learned what happened with that in the last year. But So there's none of that. So it's the cops protecting the other cops, not because he's a bad guy or anything like that, but people have tried to make a name by killing him before, 50 Cent. So the concern is, let's make sure nobody else does it. So there's snipers on the roofs. I happen to see. I'm like, whoa! And I've never felt so safe and in danger at the same time.
God damn.
It was incredible. It was truly an astounding, and I hope to God I don't get fired from movies in this town for telling this story.
Dude,
But
that is.
it was amazing. It was really a surreal moment to look up, and the helicopter's going around, and it's just like, wow, this is weird.
I remember my wife worked in the airport, and she said 50 Cent must be in a movie or something because I've seen him like he keeps coming through the airport,
Yeah.
She worked at like a magazine stand, those magazine stands that are in the airport. She was like he walked, like I've seen him for like a week now every day.
He's short too, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Is he really?
That's great.
When you brought up the baby thing, was that about like how short he is? Because he's like 5'6".
Bro, I don't
Like-
We
know.
didn't talk about the baby.
You guys talked about the baby all you want to. I didn't talk about anybody. I don't know what you're talking about.
I like how it came
God, I
right
love
back.
how he does it. It's so good. That's perfect.
No, that is funny though, because it is the people that are the biggest with the biggest personalities sometimes, especially when you're thinking in theater and movies, is to be the shortest people. But you'd be thinking like literally their personalities are 10 feet tall.
Right.
You know, you'd think that they were like literally 6'8", like a kickboxer, like, you know what I mean? Like they're just that intimidating on the film, or that gangster or that. You're just like, holy shit. And
I never know who's short until someone's
you're
like,
just a
"He's
little guy,
fucking short."
because you're just
Like,
a normal person, but you're like, oh, I'm taller than you though.
So I was showing you guys pictures. The other one I've got in here is let me find it here. So Antonio Banderas, Snoop Dogg, and a guy named Robert Malay did a movie here in town. It was I was supposed to play, or I wasn't supposed to play. Pardon me. I auditioned for and was called back for a bartender. So you've got a WWE wrestler. Snoop Dogg is 6'6".
Oh, he's way up there.
Or 6'4", I think. 6'4", 6'6". I don't remember
dude
which.
in the middle's like got some height, but he's just
That's
short.
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas, man. That's Zorro right there.
And look at his shoes.
Snoop's?
No, Antonio Banderas's.
Yeah, what about him? They're tiny.
He's got thick.
He's rised up.
These lifts.
Snoop's got some
There you go.
Casey Adams on.
Yeah.
Dude, that wrestler got them old school
No,
legs.
yeah.
So I wandered into a bar one evening, and I look over and I'm like, wait, that's Robert Malay. I sat had beers with that guy. He was this big French guy, and he's got this super deep voice. And he was the guy that in Sherlock Holmes 1 or 2, he fought Sherlock Holmes. He was the giant that fought Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, wow.
Sick. Just a great guy. Hell of a, but that's the thing. The great big guys are quiet.
Yeah.
They don't need to say it.
They don't need to. They're just quiet. And they don't get big until it's time, right?
And that's what's funny is like the small guys
Yeah.
are the big.
See, and I'm a big guy, and I'm not smart enough to be smart or to be quiet or to be smart for that matter.
Oh, so you're a big guy and you're loud.
Yeah, see? Yeah. No wonder folks think I'm a boob. Anyway.
John, I gotta ask you another question about like acting and everything.
Sure, man.
How many roles would you say you've lost out on because you're so tall?
Most of them.
Most of them.
Yeah, I mean literally. Yeah.
Like it's a thing in
Yeah,
Hollywood.
I'm-
if he is too tall next to like he could not act.
That's what I was starting to say. Was
Yeah.
that so between these three men,
Yeah.
I was up for a bartender role, but I am compared to the other two guys.
It would show Antonio Banderas looking short.
So it wouldn't visually look right that the bartender's big and then the two guys
Oh, the same.
around him are big,
Yeah.
right?
Golly.
Because the whole point is to make sure that Robert Malay, who's going to fight him, looks so much bigger than him.
Yeah,
So if I'm
okay.
in between them, that didn't make any sense. Actually, Snoop wasn't part of the scene, but that wouldn't make
I
sense.
see.
So they ended up, casting a guy who was probably 5'6", 5'8", somewhere in there.
To make the other guy look
To make the other guy look huge, right?
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
And that makes total sense,
This is movie magic.
Yeah.
These are the weird things that, not weird things, but the things that the directors and the editors and the people are keeping in mind when it's coming to portraying a certain scene. Because it's a scene, right? This isn't real life. We're portraying, and you know what's fucking crazy, right? Is when WWE came out, people were like, oh, it's fake. It's fake, bro. It's fake. And then it's like, bro, everything you watch is fake. And you love it. Yeah. Die Hard was fake, man. Yeah.
That's why they call it sports entertainment, not sports.
But it's crazy how we, with WWE, it's like fake, but it's like movies, it's like we know it's fake. Mm-hmm. We know it's not real, yet it is something that we want to consistently buy into because it's entertaining. And it really comes down to that art of being able to portray it in that way that's convincing to us.
Yeah, right on.
Right?
Back to your question about how many I've lost for how tall I am and whatnot. I've probably lost more because I'm too big. I'm a heavy set guy. I'm a big dude. One of them was, Z Nation filmed here for 5-6 seasons.
Yeah.
Right? I'm an okay actor. I get every now and then I get hired.
Right.
I didn't do a single episode of that. It's 2 years post-apocalypse. Everybody is skinny. Literally.
That's funny.
That's the thing. I was up for I auditioned for it probably, I think, 10 different times.
Yeah.
But it was,
you've seen Zombieland. They say big dudes go first.
Right, exactly. They were slow. What the hell? You can't run.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck. Zombieland. That was something that just kept that. I remember that. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. It was, something that was filming here. Spokane doesn't get it. That's the thing, is you just don't think.
You mean Z Nation?
What did I say? Zombieland.
You said Zombieland.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Z Nation. Z Nation.
Yeah, I was here for.
It's just not a.
That's the thing. Every time I hear somebody go, Spokane, it's just so Spokane. Spokane's so small. I'm like, you have no idea, man. The stuff that goes on, the culture that's in this town. I love this town. It's granted, you grow up here, you're pissed off that we're not Seattle. Okay, fine, you'll get over it. You move away, you come back. It's mostly how that goes.
It's great.
It's
great,
yeah.
dude. Listen,
Yeah.
Seattle can keep it.
Yeah.
Seattle can keep Seattle. Okay, we want to go, we'll go. But let us fucking chill a little bit. So born and raised.
Technically born in Pomona, California. My dad was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
And so I was born down there in Long Beach area, and then moved up here before I can remember.
So raised your whole life.
Yeah,
here in
raised. Yeah,
Spokane.
my family, my mom's side of the family homesteaded back in the late 1800s out on the Palouse, on the Palouse Highway out there.
Late 1800s.
Yeah. Wow.
So give me a couple things that you love about Spokane, that you absolutely love about Spokane, and give me a couple things that you wish were better. There's got to be some things out there that
Spokane. What I love, just last week, I jump on a Lime scooter with two buddies of mine, and we dink around and go through Riverfront Park and down along the Centennial Trail, and end up down at the end of Kendall Yards at the new burger place down there, sitting and watching the sunset, and we're having a couple of drinks here and there, and just dinking around, and then we scoot back and end up downtown, and we're just playing. But the whole time we're out in this beautiful weather, and everything's the river, you can hear it, and the falls are up, and it's just amazing. And there's no other city around that I can think of. I think we may be the only one that has a major set of falls running through the middle of the downtown. And it's comfortable, and you're reasonably safe. Yeah, we got a homeless thing going on, but you're reasonably safe being in this town.
I can never fully drop my guard downtown. I feel like I'm always kind of just ready for some shit to pop off. But at the same time, I feel a lot safer than a lot of other places.
Well, right. And granted, post COVID, during COVID, when everything was just, it looked like Portland down there. That was a different argument, but it's gotten a little better in the last
gotten a little
bit,
better,
that's a whole different
No,
thing.
the Lime scooter, shit through the weather, man, that right there is just a whole vibe. Like
the fact that we have all four seasons, and that sure, it's cold in the winter. It gets really bitter cold in the winter, but we get snow, we hate it, love it, whatever. It's interesting to me, and then we have a spring, and
you get a good spring.
Exactly, right? And here we are, 85 degrees in the middle of May this year. It's great.
Yeah,
we have our rough years with smoke and whatnot, but it's overall, compared to any place else I've ever spent time or lived, it's
No,
you got what's going on.
Yeah, we're thinking like we want to. Oh man, Spokane. We tired of Spokane. We bored of Spokane, right? And then I'm thinking in my brain, perspective. That's what it's all about, right?
You're 30 minutes from anywhere.
And honestly, you're thinking that like, yo, people from all over would be like, you live where? They got waterfalls, trees.
You can be in a lake in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
not
two.
In a lake in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can float from the Idaho border to almost downtown on a freaking inner tube.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is so fun too.
What I wish would change, I don't know that I can blame the city for this, but the state, I don't know what the answer is, but we're attracting homeless for a reason. There's something about what we're doing. You feed a stray cat, it comes around. I'm assuming it's somewhere in there. I don't know, but I wish we had a better solution for that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's one of those fucking honestly conundrum types of situations where I feel like a lot of the interstates, they just ship them over to the coast. They're like, get over there to Washington, California.
But I don't know about that.
I don't know what to do. I don't. What
in those states, I think they have to work for what they get. Here, you don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're shipping anybody anywhere. Arguably, it was Seattle and Portland were shipping people here was part of the problem to start with. And Boise at one point. From what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know this. I'm just saying.
No, of course.
What I've been told.
But I mean, it's definitely one of those complex situations where I feel like everybody's had a conversation about it.
Right.
Everybody's been like, me and my girlfriend have walked around Franklin Park and you see people fucking passed out in the fucking park and tented up and shit. And you're just like, how
and
do
that's
we feel
just my
about
buddy.
this?
Never mind.
But you were really like, so we start to have that conversation and say like, well, what can you fucking do? And it is like, it's when you're in a free country where, it's just a very kind of a weird place where you can't force people to get help, but they need
tricky
it.
Because,
and you wanna,
how much do you want to just care for them because they need the help? And how much is it where you're not helping, you're enabling? That's a different thing, right?
Bro.
And where does that line live? It's tough.
I used to just smoke weed and live off my mom. And like my mom had to just slice it all. She said, no, I ain't giving you shit. And then I was like, and I figured it out. You evolve. I don't know if that's the thing, but that's for me as a young person. That's what worked for me. Is what it was like when that source was off. When there was no more. When there was no more of that enablement left, I had to figure out how to get it on my own. So, yeah, I feel like that's a constant thought from everybody. Like I was just downtown. I met Hector Zeroni. That's the name of the dude from Holes. That's the dude that shoots photography here. His name's Hector. He goes by Hector Zeroni. That's his Instagram handle.
Let me just drop that name.
But he was shooting. We're talking about shooting some stuff. We're downtown. We're like, oh, smoke a little J real quick. We smoke a little J. We're chilling, and all of a sudden we just hear, this guy's trying to fucking kill me, dude. And we just look over and there's a guy with he's got a steel chair. And there's another guy pointing and he's got a backpack and we don't know what.
So WWE's in town.
This is just downtown.
Golly.
This is just what's happening. People are walking by.
Did
WWE
you intervene?
stuff.
What'd you say?
Hell no.
You said, I don't know.
But there's people walking by. They're drawing on shit. They're looking at me. I'm like, don't ask me, because I'm trying to enjoy my life. And I don't know. It's definitely an interesting dynamic that you get when you go to most cities, I feel like. And then and it's
and that's the thing. Part of it is we're becoming a bigger city. It just got out of hand for a bit there, and hopefully it's
no. I just saw that they're cleaning Camp Hope up, and there was like not many.
Supposedly like 30 people there.
Yeah, they were really.
They're shrinking it. I drive by it every day, and they move that fence in.
But this is the thing.
As much as we all squawk about Camp Hope, that got most everybody out of downtown.
For a little bit, yeah.
And that's at least something. So as long as they got a place for them.
The other thing too is that I've learned is that Spokane has built a lot of. They've built a lot of facilities for homeless people to go.
Well, and that's a big part of why we have Catholic Charities taking over a good portion of downtown.
But then there's a
and
lot of
building these places.
But then there's a lot of homeless people that won't go.
Exactly.
It's like, well, you got to come in.
but
you
they'll
got to
be
be
near
sober,
it because
you
that's
gotta,
where they can go get things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's exactly. So it's like, me and my girl, or I did a podcast. I interviewed with somebody else at a podcast that was downtown at the library downtown. And you just go downtown, I'm gonna walk in a library, and there's just homeless people all in the front of the library and laying inside the library and all. And it was it's just a weird vibe. It's a very Seattle-esque vibe.
Yeah.
Like you're in Capitol Hill, Seattle, and you're stepping over, like you have college girls with just stepping over people that are like on heroin. Like you're just like, this is a weird contrast.
And that's what's changed. So I went to Cornish College of the Arts back when it was up on Capitol Hill. And I lived at Harvard and Denny, where the Dix is on Broadway?
Yeah.
I lived a half a block from there.
Wow.
And we would go up and down, my posse's on Broadway. I literally saw him there during that time. Met Tom Skerritt there it was this cool, artsy, it was, granted I was a kid from Spokane who didn't really know, I had an uncle that was gay, but I didn't really know what that meant. Yeah. And to go and move into a gay community, that was a culture shock. But that was what it was. It was this beautiful, fun place, and there were clubs and everybody, the patios, and everybody was out and about. And now it's people in doorways.
It's fucking, and there's still that's what's wild is that there's still this party fun thing, but they're just
but it's corporate now.
It's almost like people are so desensitized, they're just stepping over the crack.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? We're just like, oh yeah, he might just don't. He's fine.
He's fine. Yeah.
Like you just feel bad for the dog.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck,
asshole,
man,
don't have a dog.
Come on,
God,
man. Like
that's crazy that you say that. You just feel bad for the dog.
I feel like we've all felt like that.
Aren't we desensitized?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Okay, we dove into that one. Is there anything else that you really wish that you would see Spokane get better at as far as
supporting theater? Our city council voted to put a football stadium north of the river. That's not downtown. They did not increase parking in any way, shape, or form, and they took away all parking for the Spokane Civic Theater that's been there since the 60s. Community theater here in town. I don't know the inner politics or any of that, but the people voted to keep the football stadium out 2 years before, and it was just an advisory vote. So they didn't break any laws or anything, but 5 people voted to put a football stadium that can't be great for that theater that's sitting there that has, I think it's all of 45 parking spaces for a 300-seat theater and a 100-seat theater, which their major benefactors and their major patrons are older folks who aren't going to walk 2 blocks or 3 blocks or a half mile.
So they're getting
pushed. So what it is, the arena has 12,000 seats, and Civic Theater has, I think, 300 and some, and 100 downstairs or 90 downstairs, right? And then you've got the podium went in, which that's another 4,000, and then you've got the
podium.
Now, once that was done, that was okay, that works. But then you take out the parking lot that was there and create a football stadium there, or soccer. It's turning into a soccer stadium apparently, but it was supposed to be for high school football.
Okay,
and I get that, but why didn't we build a parking garage? Or they bought another piece of land, and it's just going to be a parking lot, not a parking garage.
Not supporting.
The arts. We need to support the arts more. That's kind of where I'm going with that whole thing.
No, huge.
I get tourism, I get all that. That makes absolute sense, but we got to support arts too. And really, truly.
Yeah, I mean, at least giving enough parking spaces to fill the amount of seats that are in the.
That's just it. Yeah, and ones that are not 3 blocks away for a community
and
theater.
Encourage,
right?
and that's the other thing is encourage people to come to the Civic Theater. I mean, encourage people to come to some of these shows. Like, how do you get young people involved in some of that in some of that stuff to bring people to be more engaged in that?
Finding people who are interested in acting, not as tough. I mean, granted, it can be a challenge, but putting butts in the seats.
That's what I'm talking
the
about.
Audience, and that's
what I'm
the
talking
deal.
about.
Yeah.
How do we get more people excited to put their butts in the seats to watch live theater?
Well, don't make them walk 3 blocks to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a half mile to do it, or whatever.
I was just going to say, like 3 blocks. Like what? Where can you park 3 blocks from there?
The closest parking will be. So there's the arena parking, and I think they've carved out some of that. I'm not trying to be too crappy, but I think I don't. You can't. On a hockey night, you need that parking.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
And the minute you have, you know, a hockey game or a concert in a 12,000 seat venue, and then a concert
Then they're
or a
already
sports
taken.
playing, or
Yeah.
it's done, you know. And you know, it used to be just, even when it was just the arena on a hockey night, we had to hold the curtain for, you know, 10 or 20 minutes sometimes while people came in, because it took forever to park, right?
No, and you have to hold the show. It's like, it's a
Yeah.
whole thing that you're not thinking about, that you have to, you know, people aren't here yet. Like, you know,
Yeah,
we want to fill
wish-
these seats
I
before we
wish
start
the
the show.
different entities that are in control of these things talked better. That's all I'm getting
I
at. So
see.
that when we're
Okay.
planning, now granted, it's all about budget and it's all about money and it's all about, I'm sure there's politics and all kinds of things going on, but you're just asking me for my dream list. My dream list would be, let's support the arts and support the sports and support the, you know.
Yeah.
I think
sports,
that-
sports are supported. We just need to work on the
I think
arts a little
the-
bit.
Right. I mean, if
arts-
COVID proved nothing else, it's that sports is more important than education, because football continued, but classes didn't in
Yeah.
colleges.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that it's like, people don't realize that it's such a good outlet for, you know, people to indulge in art. Like, it's
Yeah.
something. It's almost of a therapy.
Right.
Of people, for people to go and see a show, regardless if that's musical or theater, or, and we need more of that for people to be able to mediate their feelings, because we got some crazy ass motherfuckers out here in Spokane. Okay, we need to get in touch. People need to get in touch with their feelings, man.
Mediate
Go-
their feelings. I like that.
Go watch a show. go watch a play. I feel like you know, that's something that I haven't done in a long time, and I feel like a lot of people listening to this podcast maybe haven't done in a long time. Go see a live theater performance.
And I'm a
Performing
hypocrite
arts.
because I love doing plays, but I usually I resist going to them.
But you're a doer. That's the thing.
Well,
I mean, you know,
but I'm, you know, I should get my butt in the seat too.
I guess
so
true.
arguably, you know,
same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing
Yeah.
actually, because I perform music, and you know, I try to go out and just put my butt in a seat, you know,
Yeah.
metaphorically, if you will, though we're standing most of the time, you know, rocking out. But I want to support, you know, music and art in this city, because this is a very artistic city. You know, we got people doing graffiti.
That's with an R, artistic.
Artistic, with literally paintings. You're talking theater, music, podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Art.
that's the thing. People talk about that. There's the squawk, is that in this town, it's like, oh, there's nothing to do. There's no culture. Well, go to a First Friday. I mean, there's everywhere. All these restaurants and different places putting art up on the walls. I mean, granted, I'm plugging my own place, Summit Kitchen. We try to do First Friday every year.
First Friday?
Matter of fact, I don't know when this comes out, but this next month it'll be Peter Hardy. who
Yeah,
used
1
to
week
be-
from today.
Okay, so Peter Hardy will be our artist for June. He is the former artistic, or was he technical director, scenery designer for the Civic Theater back, and he's been retired for a few years.
Wow.
But he's this incredible artist. And he's got this stuff he's going to put up. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's
So,
something.
but go out and find the art, find it, because there's the difference. We're not Seattle. We're not that. But I've always said that Spokane's like Seattle, except that we have 1 instead of 5 of everything.
Yeah, I love that, and it's
Yeah.
a little bit more. It's a little bit more personable and a little more special. I feel
Yeah,
like
people aren't as angry as much as we're griping about stuff here at the end.
Yo,
but,
listen, I think that the one of the things that I'm looking for when I'm Googling or Zillowing, if you will, is I'm looking for a place with friendly people. So if everybody out there could just be a little bit nicer to everybody around them, whether they're, you know,
fuck you.
you know.
Oh wait, sorry.
You see, like let's back up a little bit from the New Jersey, the New York, the East Coast. You know, I get telling people the way it is, but like let's tap into a little bit of that, you know, Minnesota niceness. Let's all just be a little nice to each other, because honestly, it's going to make you feel better. It's going to make the person you're interacting with feel better. Support somebody.
Be a little more Canadian.
Don't be Canadian. That's it. Don't be too
With some
cool to
Southern
support
hospitality.
art either.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
John, thank you so much.
My brother,
man,
it's an honor.
for
My
coming.
God, you guys, I'm freaking blown away.
Yeah,
I
this is
appreciate
so
it.
fun, man. I really appreciate you coming here and sharing so many stories. And honestly, we didn't even get to tap into fatherhood, which it was
Okay, so here's the thing. I got 2 daughters. They are the greatest thing in the entire world. I have my oldest daughter graduated Gonzaga Law. She is an attorney practicing here in Spokane with a husband who is just the greatest kid in the world. I love my son-in-law. He is a goof and he is awesome, and they're both brilliant.
Wow.
My youngest kid, they're not kids. They're freaking, she's 27. They're adults, but still 27. I mean, they're all, geez, I hate it when I call them kids too. But My other daughter is going to be a PA by the end of the year.
Wow, man.
Physician assistant.
That is so
Awesome.
cool, man.
Yeah. I got smart kids. I don't know.
Proud
I don't know how
dad.
that
Very- yeah,
happened,
you
but
seem very proud
You
of
did
him.
something right.
their mom's pretty bright, so there's that.
Yeah.
Well, you're obviously a really good dad, and you know,
I tried, but I don't know. We'll see.
this was more than a
Give yourself
pleasure
some
to come drink our orange bourbon on the podcast.
Jim Beam Orange. Yeehaw.
Jim Beam got
By the way,
finished, baby.
I'm going to say props to your wife with the tonic water. That's some tasty stuff.
was pretty good, actually.
No,
That was
she-
good.
You know, she'll love that. She'll love that.
Jhon Goodwin, everybody.
Go on. Look at Brennan's upset.
If you want to, John, if you want to look at the camera and tell people where they can find you, where they can, where they can go.
Yeah,
to
just what I
support
want is
you.
people hunting for me. Oh, you mean? Oh, sorry. Yeah. 2 shows a night. Try the veal. I'm Jhon Goodwin. Lost Boys Garage Bar and Grill is our place up north on Wall, just north of Francis, and the Summit Kitchen, which is on Grand, right at 13th, just above St. John's Cathedral, next to the Mexican restaurant. 13th and Grand. It's 12. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, right around
12:35,
that
I think,
area.
something
We'll
like
find
that.
it.
Those are our spots, and on your hopefully in a movie theater near you soon.
Yeah, and it's what's the name of the movie is
The new one coming out is Dreamin Wild.
Dreamin Wild.
Yeah,
Guys,
That's set to release.
I think August 4th. Casey Affleck, Walton Goggins, great guy. Bo Bridges, Zooey Deschanel. I'm forgetting somebody.
Jhon motherfucking Goodwin.
Well, Dougie Dawson. Dougie Dawson here locally. Great actor.
Really?
Great guy, yeah.
Okay.
Great guy.
Yeah, thank you. So,
My
my
brother.
friend.
God, it's good. Yeah, thank you. I'm so
course.
honored, you guys. Thank
Yes,
you.
Everybody,
absolutely.
check out John, Cody. Thank you, man. Brennan,
Absolutely.
appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I love y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Yo, I'm just happy to be here, breathing this fresh air, living my best life, even when the shit ain't fair, even when the love ain't there. Yo, I'm just happy to be here, smoking some good weed, not thinking what could be. I'm just here in the right now, doing me till it's lights out. Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, cause I know that shit could be worse. So what I spit in these verses gon' make some history first.
Show 'em I'm happy to be here, I'm living my best life.
Yo, you living without fear,
You wonder what that's like?
like a breath of some fresh air.
Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
Do you know who DaBaby is? Okay, so this is a rapper. Big rapper. His name is DaBaby. And he's just like at his truck and he's just like, yo, and he's just like talking shit. And then he's just like, hey, you. And he's just like, and all of a sudden, Jhon
I'm on his
Goodwin's
Instagram.
rapper.
I was his driver and his posse's driver for the day, this artist. And,
That had to be interesting.
oh, man. If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. He's not a big rapper. He's just a rapper.
Yeah.
And the guy's, whatever. This guy is just, So I don't want to go too far. I don't know how big he is or whatever. They're still smoking their grape cigars. Really stinky. And he's just rude as shit to the kid. Yo, baby brother, it's all about love. Like, what the hell,
guy?
man? To the kid. He just ignored him until he was getting in his car, and then he, yo, baby brother, it's all about love. I don't even think he was on stage for 20 minutes. It's really stinky. It's really stinky. I've never had less respect for an artist than that day with that particular artist.
Wow.